Yo, what up, y'all? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another live stream. So before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and let's get it cracking. All right. So before we get started, I just want to apologize to everybody. I scheduled this wrong, and I think it caused some confusion. I had actually accidentally scheduled it for 5:55 a.m. this morning, and I didn't realize it. It was supposed to be scheduled for 5:55 p.m. tonight, and it ended up sending out an alert, I think. So then there were people in here, and the stream never occurred, and I'm sorry. I just want y'all to know that that was my mistake. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna do this stream now, and then we have some other streams planned for later on today. So if you're not subscribed to all my backup channels, make sure that you do that. Take a moment, make sure that you hit the links in the description box and the link that the bots put into the chat. All right. So what we're going to be talking about in this stream is basically what happened in Idaho. I'm not sure if anybody is familiar with the situation in Idaho, but what ended up happening was 31 members of an alleged white supremacist group called Patriot Front were arrested because they were packed into a U-Haul. If you guys didn't get a chance to see my video called BYOB, Bring Your Own Ballistics, make sure you guys check that video out as you watch your homepage. All right. Drop a like on it, drop a comment, let me know what you guys think. We're going to dive deeper into that. We're going to talk about Patriot Front. We're going to talk about some of the things that people have said about that organization, and we're going to get a discussion going about it. All right. So what we have here is a news clip about this topic. All right. Police arrest 31 people with ties to hate group found inside of U-Haul. Now, my question for everybody is, have you ever heard of this organization called Patriot Front before? And if you have, what have you heard them involved in? Let your boy know in the comment section.
This happened this afternoon, just a few blocks from that Pride Parade, a parade that drew hundreds of people to downtown Coeur d'Alene. Law enforcement says they've been tracking this group and suspects that all the individuals detained showed ties to a white nationalist organization. Coeur d'Alene police praising.
Now, here's my question. We all already know about this. We already know about the Peyton Gendrons. We all already know about the white supremacy that's involved in law enforcement. We all know that. Everybody knows. We've heard it multiple times. You know what I'm saying? Even Ted Cruz repeated it during that Senate hearing that we were watching yesterday. Yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. White supremacy is the biggest threat facing the United States today. Okay, we all have known that. White supremacy is also an intricate part of the establishment of the United States. So my question for everybody is, now that we know this common sense fact that everybody knows, my question is, what's going to be done about it? That's the question. What are we going to do about it? How is it going to get fixed? How is it going to get changed? If you ask me, we can't leave it up to the government, and we can't leave it up to the population. They cannot be trusted to take care of these things because they're not going to take care of institutions that help them facilitate an unfair advantage. So the only people that it leaves it up to deal with this or to do anything about it is, take a wild guess, who? That would be us, ladies and gentlemen. If you agree, throw me some thumbs up in the chat. If you disagree, give me some thumbs down and let me know why you disagree.
In the actions of a quick-thinking 911 call.
I don't think this would have been as successful had we not had one extremely astute citizen who saw something that was very concerning to them and reported it to us.
Saturday afternoon, that person reporting a, quote, little army loading into the back of a U-Haul. 10 minutes later, police make a traffic stop. This video shows the moment that truck's door slides open. 31 people arrested, all with suspected ties to the white nationalist group Patriot Front.
They had shields, shin guards, and other riot gear with them, including at least one smoke grenade.
Shouts out to Maya Wolves. What up with it, Maya? Good to see you as always. Now, here's my question. You guys heard what this police officer said. The police officer said they had riot gear with them, and they did. They had riot gear. They had shields. They had all kinds of stuff. All right. Now, like I said, when we talked about Peyton Gendron, and we'll be getting back to him at a later date, like I said, your boy has streams on streams on streams on streams to do. You know what I'm saying? You got to ask yourself the question, why is it that when it comes to these white supremacist organizations, why is it when it comes to these acts of terrorism, why is it that the terrorists always literally look exactly like the police? That's the question that needs to be the ongoing question that we need to repeat, or at least get some kind of answer or theoretical answer to. All right. Shouts out to my man Red Raven Rucker in the building. What's good with it, bro? And if you guys have not smashed that like button, help your boy out. Make sure that you guys smash that like button. We got 7 likes right now. If everybody smashes that like button, we'll be at 14. So please make sure y'all do that and help your boy out. And also make sure you guys check out the pre-recorded videos that I've been dropping and let me know what you guys think about them.
The arrest happening just blocks from North Idaho's Pride celebration, an event that organizers say drew hundreds of supporters.
Now, look at this Pride event. What do you notice about this Pride event off the rip? That's the question. What is the first thing that you notice about this Pride event? If you notice anything about this Pride event, one thing that should stand out very staunchly to you, one thing that you should see very easily is that there was a white supremacist caravan going to a Pride event with predominantly and overwhelmingly large amount of white people there. Now, here's my question. I need you guys to help me make sense of that. What kind of sense does that make?
We have been through so much, so much harassment and attempts to intimidate, on the psychological level. And the truth is that if you
like this is a white person. So you have white supremacists inside of a U-Haul van, packed in there like sardines, you know what I'm saying, going to a LGBTQ pride event, and you see who's at the LGBT pride event. Like, this is in Idaho. My question for you guys is, do you think that there's a bunch of black people and a bunch of non-white people there? Let me know in the comment section. If you guys think that there's a bunch of black people there and a bunch of non-white people there, give me a thumbs up in the chat. If you don't think so, give me a thumbs down.
you allow yourself to be intimidated, you let them win. And what we have shown today is that you will not win. Love will win.
Police now working alongside federal law enforcement to process all 31.
Now, look at that. Look right there. Doesn't it look like he has a police officer in custody? This is exactly what I'm talking about. Doesn't it look like that's a police officer that has another police officer zip tied? My question for you guys is, why does this always look like this? That's the question. That's an important question, in my opinion, that nobody asks. And I'm telling you, I'm going to continue to ask that question until that question is at the forefront of these discussions, because I think it's very important. The reason why I think it's very important is because I think it says something. Now, what is it that could possibly say?
One arrests. The men representing at least 10 states, including Washington and Idaho, and as far away as Texas, South Dakota, and Virginia, all held on conspiracy to riot.
Now, that's how far they drove from. They came from all around, you guys. Just like Peyton Gendron, just like the Boogaloo Boys, just like the Wolverine Watchmen. They drove from far away. But what I find fascinating about this situation is they drove far away to allegedly attempt to terrorize a big group of white people.
A misdemeanor charge in a jail stay. Police are confident may have stopped.
I mean, like, it looks like they have the fire department handcuffed. This looks like the police have just arrested the fire department. To me, I mean, like, if that doesn't say something about this entire thing, I don't know what does. You know what I'm saying? If it doesn't tell you that there's a link between law enforcement and all of these people and all of these terrorists and all of these terrorist organizations, I don't know what does.
Something far worse from happening.
Police are commending the quick thinking of that 911 caller. They also say they've been working with the FBI and have been monitoring various group communications ahead of this weekend's Pride event.
So now what I find fascinating is that they were monitoring and they were able to intercept these people, but Peyton Gendron has a digital footprint and they just couldn't stop him. They could stop and intercept 31 people in the back of a U-Haul bus, but they just couldn't stop Peyton Gendron. Make that make sense. Shout out to my man Gary Smith. What's up with it, bro? Good to see you as always. I hope you're doing well, brother.
In Seattle, Sebastian Robertson, King 5 News.
All right, so there's that. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick look here. All right, we're going to take a quick look here, and we're going to get some background information about this organization called Patriot Front. All right. Now, like I said, it's been rumored that this organization either is an FBI front organization or that the FBI has infiltrated this organization. Me personally, I don't know enough to know. That's just what I've heard. Now, this is from the SPLC, all right, the Southern Poverty Law Center, Patriot Front. All right, Patriot Front is a white nationalist hate group that broke off from Vanguard America in the aftermath of the deadly Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, Virginia of August 2017. All right. So now here's my question for you guys. How many of you all are familiar with Vanguard America? If you're familiar with Vanguard America, give me a thumbs up in the chat. If you've never heard of Vanguard America, give me a thumbs down. All right. So now here it says Patriot Front is an image-obsessed organization that rehabilitated the explicitly fascist agenda of Vanguard America with garnish patriotism. All right. So that's interesting. That's fascinating because, again, that says a lot. That says a lot. And this is one of the reasons why it's so important to pay attention to this kind of stuff. And this is one of the reasons why it's so important to study this stuff. This says a lot. Patriot Front focuses on theatrical rhetoric and activism that can easily be distributed as propaganda for its chapters across the country. In its own words, all right? So this is what Patriot Front says. The time of the republic has passed in America as the systems grow too weak to perform its duty. Now, here's my question. When white supremacists say perform its duty, what does that mean? The time of the republic has passed in America as the system grows too weak to perform its duty. What system? That's what I need you guys to let me know in the comment section. What system are we talking about? Because there is no systems, right? Sounds like the Atomwaffen division. Facts. The damage done to this nation and its people will not be fixed if every issue requires the approval and blessing from the dysfunctional American democratic system. Democracy has failed in this once great nation. All right. So now, again, this is what I want you guys to understand. Patriot Front has its own manifesto. Patriot Front has its own manifesto. Yeah, I've heard of Brian Craig. I watch a lot of conservatives. I've heard of Brian Craig. So now here it says the American identity was something uniquely forged in the struggle that our ancestors waged to survive in this new continent. Their ancestors waged to survive in this new continent. Fascinating. Fascinating. Nah, I don't have anybody on my radar. I just do my own thing. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says to be an American is to realize this identity and wake up to the national struggle upon one shoulder, not simply by birth. One is granted this title, but by the degree to which he works and fulfills the potential of his birth. Yeah, that's not quite true. That's not even an honest depiction of how America is. You know what I'm saying? And I wouldn't be surprised. Look at Madonna. Madonna's got a adopted black child. Look at how it turned out. You know what I'm saying? I wonder what he's teaching it. You know, if it's anything similar to the public education system, I hope that black child eventually is able to go and explore some things on her own or its own. I don't know if it's a boy or a girl. You know what I'm saying? So again, this is from the Patriot Front Manifesto, just like the Chad Manifesto that ended up being read as many people got killed in Buffalo. So now here it says, as an African, for example, may have lived, worked, and even been classified as a citizen in America for centuries, yet he is not an American. I find that fascinating. He is likely and prefers to be labeled an Africa in America. Yeah, no, I don't. I don't think anybody that's foundational Black American does. You know what I'm saying? Shouts out to my man Tarek in the building. What's up with it, bro? Good to see you as always. The same rule applies to others who are not of the founding. Look at this. This is it. The same rule applies to others who are not of the founding stock of our people, as well as those who do not share the common unconscious that permeates through our greater civilization and the European diaspora. Do you guys understand that? Do you guys understand what that means? Kenneth L. says, in your opinion, do you think we are making progress? That's a good question. That's a great question, Kenneth. What do you guys think in the comment section? How do you guys feel about Kenneth's question? Do you all feel that we're making progress? I don't feel that we are. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel that we are at all. And hopefully, eventually we will. But I don't think that we are at all. You know what I'm saying? I think that we're collectively cooning and eye-bucking, and we're living in a delusional reality, thinking somehow our cooning and eye-bucking that we're doing is some form of warped proactivity, and it's not, in my opinion. But again, that's just my humble opinion. You know what I'm saying? And ladies and gentlemen, we got 27 people, or I'm sorry, we got 14 people in here watching and 13 likes. If everybody smashes that like button, we will be at 27 likes. So please make sure y'all smash that like button. You know what I'm saying? My man Tarek says, I got a crazy story to send you for your inbox as well. That's what's up, bro. Your boy will get that popping. You know what I'm saying? Your boy will get that popping. I'm telling you, I'm trying to be on it. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to do a backlog, too, of all the old shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, absolutely. You can send me stories. Hit the description box and hit the about page and follow me on my other social media. You know what I'm saying? Gary Smith says, no, he doesn't feel that we're making progress. And ladies and gentlemen, drop some radiation emoji. My man Tarek just made it 14 likes, and you guys can do the same. If you've already liked this video because you're enjoying the content, throw some thumbs up in the chat. All right. So now here it says, America, our nation, stands before an existential threat. Now, my question is, what is this existential threat that America stands before? Were you under the impression that America has an existential threat that it needs to currently deal with? If you guys were aware of that, type in a 1. If you weren't aware of that, type in a 2. The lives of your children and your children's children and your prosperity beyond that dangle above a den of vipers. Now, I got a question for you. This is a great question, all right? Shouts out to Kenny L. Kenny L just brought up an interesting point, and it just dawned on me because I always wanted a opportunity to pose this question. Shouts out to my man Iron Will in the building, B1 family. What up with it, bro? So he was talking about Brian Craig, and I know who Brian Craig is. He's a live streamer. I think he's a radio show host. He's got a channel on YouTube. All right. So now he says Brian Craig has an adopted black child. All right. Now, I got a question for everybody. Being that Brian Craig has an adopted black child, do you feel that white supremacists look at him and say he's compromised? Do you feel that white people don't support him because he adopted a black child? I'm just curious. Do you think that that benefits them, or does it cause a detriment? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. All right. So now here it says a corrupt, rootless, global, and tyrannical elite has usurped your democracy and turned it into a weapon to first enslave, then replace you. Sounds like a little bit of white guilt here talking. Sounds like a little bit of white guilt there talking. You know what I'm saying? Because literally they're the only people that have globally attempted to do that to other races of people. They've literally done it to every other race on the planet, but yet they feel that somebody's doing that to them. So now my question is, do you all feel that Brian Craig's support base, his subscribers, his members, his fans, do you feel that they feel that he's a quote coon because he has an adopted black daughter? Do you feel that they feel that he's compromised, or is it just business as usual? He uses it as a weapon. Whenever he gets called racist, he says he has a black child. But a lot of Proud Boys have black significant others. A lot of racist white women have black boyfriends, black baby daddies too. You know what I'm saying? Which I find fascinating. You know what I'm saying? I've never understood why people who are racist engage like that. And I've never understood why people who are the target of those attacks engage with that kind of person. If you're going to, I just recently saw a story on Fox News about a white woman who had a mixed child. And she said that she's upset because she feels that because of the school, her son identifies as black. Now, what I find fascinating is if she has a problem with the son identifying as black, did you not identify your baby dad as black? If you have those kind of issues, how do you even engage with that person to the point of having a romantic relationship? It's fascinating. You know what I'm saying? Shouts out to Speak Facts Podcast for the $10 super chat, ladies and gentlemen. We in the building. We got the $10 super chat. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a stream sponsor, and everybody thank Speak Facts Podcast for that donation, because that means that the black lights will stay on to stream and make videos another day. You know what I'm saying? Another day. You know what I mean? Kenneth L says the owner of his show has an adopted black child too. Now, that tells you a couple things. One, we can look at that and say these people have all these adopted black children, or we can look at it and say, why didn't these black families raise their kids? And now white people are raising the kids. Something to think about. You know what I'm saying? The black lights stay on another day. You know what I'm saying? The black lights stay on another day. You know what I'm saying? So now here's the background. All right. This is the background about Patriot Front from the SPLC. Patriot Front is a white nationalist hate group that formed in the aftermath of the deadly Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, Virginia of August 12th, 2017. The organization broke off from the Vanguard America, a neo-Nazi group that participated in the chaotic demonstration. Patriot Front's founder, Thomas Rosado, led VA members during the Unite the Right, including James Alex Fields Jr., the young man accused of murdering anti-racist protester Heather Heyer after fatally driving his vehicle into a crowd of protesters. Now, I find that fascinating. Shouts out to my man Torian Rain, B1 in the building. What up with it, bro? Good to see you as always, family. So now here it says Rasil and his loyalists broke away from VA after a months-long feud with VA's leader, Dylan Irizarry. Excerpts from leaked internal communications that were later posted to a number of online forums, including Kiwi Farms, reveal that tensions between Irizarry and Razoo were coming to a head as early as 2017. All right. So now this is an excerpt. Apparently, there was some internal beef between these two in the group. PF's formal break from VA came amidst a movement, a wide debate over the effectiveness of public demonstrations and the issue of optics in the wake of Unite the Right, which resulted in widespread condemnation from the mainstream public, which is fascinating. Widespread condemnation from the mainstream public, while the president at the time was saying that these are very fine people. There's very fine people on both sides. Just make sure that, you know what I'm saying, we keep that all into context. So now here it says, in the midst of this contentious feud, Rasul formally broke with VA on August 30th of 2017, just 18 days after the rally, in an announcement posted to the VA's Southern Region Discord server. So again, this is what I be telling y'all about them Discord groups. Rasul's conscious rebranding under the banner of PF was a direct consequence of Unite the Right organizers' inability to control the rally's presentation. So again, they're all about the optics. It's all about how they're able to be seen. It's all about how they want to be seen. You see what I'm saying? They're very sensitive about the way that they're perceived. So now here it says swastikas and other neo-Nazi era imagery were prominent among attendees who were also chanting slogans such as this right here. All right, such as that. So they were talking about replacement theory and being replaced and the paranoia and all of that way back then. None of this is new stuff. You know what I mean? Like, it's all been going on for a very long time. PF was one of a number of hate groups that sought to recast itself as mainstream patriotic Americans by dressing up their propaganda and rhetoric in Americana. Now, here's my question. Do you guys understand what that means? Shouts out to Gemini dropping by to hit the thumbs up and drop a line in the chat. I appreciate it, and you guys should follow suit. Make sure that you guys smash that like button if you haven't. You know what I mean? We got 14 people watching, and we got 13 likes. If everybody smashes that like button, we will be up over 20 likes, which will be great. You know what I'm saying? So help your boy out with that. All right. So Patriot Front's manifesto makes frequent reference to American historical figures. Pay very close attention. Now, my question for you guys is, what historical figures are you assuming that Patriot Front makes reference to? That's what I want to know. What do you guys think? As far as American heritage, as far as American history, and who these people might be referencing, or who it is that they're getting their examples from, who they feel they're getting their leadership from, who is it that they're referencing? That's the question. Casting its politics as a revival of an allegedly authentic American identity based on pan-European colonizers. What does that mean? See, this is where you get your boy Rob repeating, because this is where we got to start asking these questions. And then we got to take these questions and push them and put the pressure on there until we get the answer to these questions. Answer these questions. We can ask the media. We can ask during debates. This is literally coming straight out of the playbook. Because, again, they all have their own manifesto. Peyton Gendron had his own manifesto. These people have their own manifesto. PF's manifesto makes frequent reference, all right? Frequent reference to American historical figures, casting its politics as a revival of an allegedly authentic American identity based on pan-European colonizers. So when they say we need to make America great again, I guess they're referencing this time period. One of the reasons why so many people look at the saying, make America great again, and ask the question, well, I guess that has to be synonymous with make America white again. It has to be. So now here it says, as Rasul notes in his internal announcement of the organization's split with VA, PF's rebranding was aesthetic, not ideological. All right. What does that mean? That's important, PF's branding was aesthetic, not ideological. What does that mean? Because that's important. Why would they want to make an aesthetic rebranding? That is an important question to ask. So now my question is, if this organization decided to make an aesthetic rebranding, do you think that a lot of other things are being aesthetically rebranded as we speak? Do you think other things are being dressed up as things that they don't appear to as we speak? Gemini says they replaced themselves decades ago. Yeah, I gotta agree. Torian says they are kicking their own asses. Facts. Gemini says to be less identifiable. Yeah, they want to blend in. They want to have that camouflage. You notice how they always wear that camouflage when they committing terrorist acts? They want to do that with the organization as well. They want to camouflage, just integrate themselves right into politics and say, well, you see, you understand, these are our political beliefs. And because there are political beliefs, we can't be what? You're just taking things a little bit too far, because all we're doing here is talking about politics. I mean, nobody's bringing race into the conversation, right? That's what that is. That's one of the reasons why those people always want to try to act as if they're steering things away from race, because while they're steering things away from race, on your end, they're driving head first into race, just using different language. You know what I'm saying? Maya Wolf says in 1980, Ronald Reagan was the first president that said, "Make America great again." And as we all know, if you guys haven't seen that live stream that I did about the NRA and their inconsistencies, we all know what "Make America great again" meant when Ronald Reagan said it. It's the same thing it means when a lot of these other people say it. One of the ways that Ronald Reagan made America great again was the Mulford Act, to make sure that black militias aren't able to legally be gun owners. He made sure that that happened. And now, because that's causing hindrance to white people that want to get guns, now all we do is sit around and babble about how liberal California's gun laws are. That liberal California gun law originated as anti-black gun laws. So don't try to sit there and associate that with us as if that has something to do with us, because it doesn't. Sorry, when it comes down to most things in the United States that people like to attribute to us, the main people that say nobody alive did that, we actually didn't. You know what I'm saying? We actually didn't. Sorry, not sorry. PF's manifesto states our people must learn to internalize their natural identities and come to connect that re-emerging identity with the homeland. Americans are descendants of Europeans, but at the same time, they are not European. Americans are descendants of Europeans, but at the same time, they are not Europeans. That's a false statement. But this is what they do. We'll just assert false equivalencies. Indigenous Americans are descendants of Americans. Current white people are descendants of European migrants. And you are still European. You don't, your DNA doesn't change because you're here. Of course, unless you're mixed or something like that, then your DNA changes a little bit. But for the most part, on top of your DNA, there's the social identification as well. This nation is unique in its newly realized pan-European identity, which has allowed it to succeed. All right. So what I want you guys to understand is that what they're saying is that white supremacy is the reason why the United States is successful, and white supremacy must be upheld to maintain United States as a strong nation. That's what that means. The manifesto continues with a call for the formation of a white ethno-state, which, I mean, you got one. It's called Europe. Go home. If that's what you want, go home. The entire world was ethno-states until people decided to disperse people all over the planet. These are self-created problems by white people that they don't want to take any responsibility for. The state has long since ceased to advocate for the interest of the descendants of its creators, and thus a state which will be, above all else, a reflection of the national interest that must be implemented fully and absolutely. All right. So this is how they plan to unite the right, through white supremacy. But these are the people that sit there and say that they're not a part of it, and none of this exists today, and these are very fine people. I find that fascinating. Now, here's my question. All of these people that they try to claim are black extremists, all of these people that they try to say are, quote, black supremacists, how many of those people have ever actively engaged in an agenda to hijack parts of America or hijack government officials and create a black ethno state? How many people have ever done that? How many groups have done that legitimately? How many times have white groups done that? If I'm not mistaken, a white supremacist group took over some area in Oregon for a while, a couple years back. So now my question is, when this stuff is talked about in the media, why is it not talked about in these terms? Why are these questions not asked? Oh, that's why, because we don't have, we don't have anybody right there in the front to ask these questions. They're not going to deal with the people that would ask these questions. So that's why we have to grow ourselves large to where we grow like a cancer. So they have to come in contact with us. They have to confront. You have to take your public intellectual beat down when you say nonsense. The reason why they avoid these confrontations is exactly the reason why this organization wants to rebrand itself for optics. If you dance around the number one contenders, then you never have a chance to lose your belt. A lot of managers of fighters, MMA fighters, boxers, different things like that, a lot of them use that model for long-term holding of titles. It's one of the strategies that's used by white supremacy to this day. Patriot Front's manifesto is explicit in its exclusion of people of color. All right, so now SPLC is using that white liberal slur called people of color from its conception of pan-European identity. I mean, we're not European, so why would we be included in a pan-European identity? You know what I'm saying? Unless we're talking about the residual grape genes that some of us foundational Black Americans, have. Unless we're talking about that, the grape genes that are a result of being a descendant of slave, because there's that. Getting in touch with our European side. Because, those people are so nice and so wonderful. We have forced DNA. You know what I'm saying? As many eugenics departments as these people had all over the United States, I find it fascinating that nobody talks about that. You know what I'm saying? Find it fascinating. An African, for example, may have lived, worked, and even been classified as a citizen of America for centuries, yet he is not American. If that's the case, then how are, by this very logic, if that's the case, then how are white people American? Gemini says they're excluding Asians, Hispanics, and Latinos until they need them. Until they need them, then they're honorary white. These specific groups, honorary white. You know what I'm saying? He is as likely to be and prefers to be labeled an African in America. And I honestly don't think that that's accurate. I don't think that Africans would likely be labeled as an African in America. When you talk to a lot of Africans, you can't even get them to tell you where they come from. So I don't think that they do that. I think that they like to say, we all American, brother. We all American. They on that bullshit, that all lives matter shit. The same rule applies for others who are not of the founding stock of our people. What is the founding stock of our people? What is the founding stock of our people? When they say they are not of the founding stock of our people, ladies and gentlemen, what does that mean? Who are they talking about? Who is the founding stock of our people? Who are we talking about here? And ladies and gentlemen, real quick, we got 25 likes. If everybody smashes that like button, we will be at 46 likes, and that will put us exactly where we need to be. Whites only. Facts. If you guys agree with Gemini, put some thumbs up in the comment section. If you disagree with Gemini, throw them thumbs down. The same rule applies to others who are not of the founding stock of our people, as well as those who do not share the common unconscious, look at this, the common unconscious that permeates throughout our greater civilization and the European diaspora, which is probably what? That's the European diaspora is all of 2 miles globally, just saying. Which is one of the reasons why those people feel so claustrophobic and feel the need to just go all over the place and take everybody else's land and squat all over every other continent that they're not supposed to be in. I think there's still some residual European squatters in South Africa and other places. They've marked their flag, New Zealand, Australia, you know. PF frequently inveighs against replacement populations. Replacement populations. Ladies and gentlemen, does that sound familiar? But I'm just making this all up, right? When those trolls come in and, you know, they ask all these questions and act like they have no idea what's being talked about. They have no idea what's going on. I have no idea what you mean, Rob. You're just crazy. You're a racist. You're dangerous. You're a black supremacist. You find me more dangerous than the SPLU that already has you sized up. When they say replacement options, ladies and gentlemen, replacement populations, what do they mean? Gemini says they don't understand the nation will crumble without the diverse capital that fuels the economy. That's a fact. Their billionaires will leave in the blink of an eye. Shout out to my man Speak Facts Podcast. He says this shit sound like a word salad to justify their racist act. It's a disrespectful word salad that they didn't even have a decency to put ranch on. They didn't have a decency. You want to be so damn racist, you could even put some Italian salad dressing on here. You could use balsamic vinaigrette. These motherfuckers took a heaping scoop of mayo and threw it on top of warm iceberg lettuce for this word salad. And that's just not acceptable. I'm sorry. I'm giving you the plate back. I don't want it. Give me some damn romaine lettuce mixed with spinach. I need some salt and pepper on my shit. You know what I'm saying? Cucumbers, nice and crisp, cut up in there. I like green olives. You know what I'm saying? We could put a little bit of meat on there, some cut up turkey in there. Broccoli makes it nice. You know what I'm saying? We're not doing warm wilted lettuce with a heaping scoop. Not just a normal heaping scoop. You know what I'm saying? Not just a normal heaping scoop. These motherfuckers took the ice cream scoop and forcefully dumped it on there. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No. We don't do that. You know what I'm saying? PF frequently inveighs against replacement populations, meaning any non-white resident, immigrant, or refugee, as a direct threat to its mission. Now, the fascinating thing is that when it comes to white, There's a moving goal post. There's a moving goal post when it comes to a status of white. Kenneth L says, were you in a stream with the Radical Sister? No, I don't know who that is. I don't really, the only people that I've done streams with is TD Hip Hop Media. I've called into Duke and Don's before. I've called into Mr. Real Estate's before, and I've called into the Honest Truths before. Those are the you know what? I called into the Star Report once, way back in the day, and that was before I actually started making content on YouTube. Those are the only people who I've ever called into. You know what I'm saying? I usually like most good hitmen, I work alone. Sometimes my man Izzy, Reality Check Virtual Radio, if you out there, brother, shouts out. Sometimes me and my man Izzy will do some collaborative content, but me and Izzy collaborating and me and TD Hip Hop Media, for the most part, as far as collaborations go, those are the only people that I've ever, collaborated with. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you know what? And I called into Conversation with Kings one time. We were all having a debate. You know what I'm saying? Shouts out to Conversation with Kings, by the way. That was a really good debate too. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I don't really, you know what I'm saying? Your boy stays in his corner and does his own thing. So now here it says its manifesto accuses these often vulnerable communities as a threat to so-called pan-European culture. All right. Now I find that fascinating because what is pan-European culture? What is that? Let's get the verdict out on that. What is pan-European culture? What is it? What does it look like? You know what I'm saying? What is collective pan-European culture? How does that work? And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, we got 22 people watching. We got 26 likes. If everybody smashes that like button, we will be at 48 on our way to 50. Help us get there. Gemini says nothing. There's no such thing. I got to agree. Kenneth L says, check her channel out, The Radical Sister. I found her a few months ago. Okay. That's what's up. Oh, you know who else I collab? How the fuck could I forget? My man Moxie Approved. I collabed and I've done content with Moxie Approved too. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says PF asserts the nation will see the thin veil of civilizations begin to wane as resources are diverted from them to the replacement populations, which I find it fascinating because that's never happened. If anything, people came here to the United States, stole and extorted resources that were already here being utilized by people. You know what I'm saying? But now for some reason, basically what these white supremacist organizations are saying is that they fear karma and basic repercussions for their actions. They are deathly fearful of that. You know what I'm saying? That's all this stuff is saying, which is, I mean, whatever. Not my problem. I didn't do it. My problem is we need to practice self-preservation so that this doesn't happen to us further. You know what I'm saying? We need to practice self-preservation so this kind of stuff doesn't happen to us further. So now here it says roughly a dozen members of PF turned this xenophobic platform into street activism at a San Antonio, Texas Immigration, Customs, and Enforcement Detention Center on July 28th of 2018. FBI members marched up to an Occupy ICE protest encampment chanting "Strong Nations, Strong Borders" before filming themselves vandalizing the protesters' tents and signs. Rasil, who is based in Texas, was among PF members who filmed the encounter. All right. PF's activism typically consists of anonymously flying posters, dropping banners off buildings or overpasses, or performing miscellaneous acts of public service, such as park cleanups. When PF orchestrates protests or public appearances, they are typically tightly choreographed and scripted to maximize propaganda value. Virtually all of its activities are undertaken with propaganda value in mind. Now, here's my question. Why is it that this white supremacist organization's rhetoric sounds so similar to the average everyday I'm not racist, but person? Why is that? Do you guys notice that? It's the same question that I ask about these people that commit these terrorist crimes. Why is it that they're always indistinguishable from the police? Why do they look exactly like the police? Why does that happen? Shouts out to my man Carlton Way. I don't know if you guys know your directions or if your navigation is working, but don't get lost. All you got to do is just follow the Carlton Way. You know what I'm saying? That's all you got to do. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna start calling Carlton Way Carlito's Way. You know what I'm saying? Oh shit. You know what I'm saying? According to Merriam-Webster, Pan-European defines to or relating to involving all or most of the nations of Europe. Shouts out to Maya for that definition. Pan-European identity is the sense of personal identification with Europe in a cultural or political sense. Now, here's my question. Do you all feel that Russians are considered pan-European? All right, shouts out to Kenneth L. Peace. Do you all consider Russians pan-European? And do you guys think that Russians are considered pan-European? I'm curious about that. What do you guys think? What do you guys think about that? For purposes of the article, yes. Okay. Speak Facts Podcast says no. What do you guys think? Give me some consensus on that. Such was the case at a PF demonstration at the University of Texas at Austin on November 3rd of 2017, with roughly 30 members gathering around a statue of George Washington on the campus with torches and flares, while Rasul delivered a speech stating, "America, our nation, stands before an existential threat. The lives of your children and your children's children and your prosperity beyond that dangle above a den of vipers. Your children." What I want you to do is we're going to take a quick pause, okay? We're going to take a quick pause, and I'm going to show you guys an excerpt of a New York, or yeah, is this a New York Times? Yeah, of a New York Times article. Yeah, I got to agree. I got to agree. Yeah, I can zoom in on the article. Let me know, are you guys able to see this? How is that? Is that better? Christopher Rufo. He fuels the right's cultural fires and spreads them to Florida. Christopher Rufo. All right. Now, Christopher Rufo understands the way that these people's psychology works, and he understands their biggest fears. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to skip down here to where it talks about why we continue to talk about kids. That's one of the reasons why when it comes to the retaliation against Disney emerged after its opposition to the parental rights and education law. They focus on these people's fear of not being able to protect their kids. Now, here's my thing. Do I agree with talking about all of this absurd stuff that they talk about in school as far as LGBTQ? No. Do I agree that there needs to be some kind of safeguard on white kids' feelings when talking about race? No. Just talk about race. There's no safeguard on anybody when people try to say black people are dumb and commit all the crimes. So you definitely don't need any safeguards. So now here it says critics of Mr. Rufo and of the broader right-wing push on LGBTQ issues says that the attacks represent a new era of moral panic, one with echoes of slander from decades ago that gay teachers were a threat to children. So the Manhattan Institute and Christopher Rufo are the think tank that fuel white supremacist propaganda. They've done the necessary research to understand that the best way to garner support is to make these low IQ people who believe this stuff feel that there's an existential threat to the control that they have of parenting their kids, or a nation that they have that their kids are in. Now, these are some of the most protected kids in the United States. I mean, so now what I want you guys to see is the parallel between Rufo, what Rufo says, and the parallel between what Patriot Front says. But yet these are the same people that say, I'm not racist. So what we'll do is anything that we don't like, anybody who we don't like, anybody who we don't share a commonality with, we'll present them as a threat to your children. That's what we'll do. We'll present them as a threat to your children. And we know that most of the people are so dumb that deal with us, they'll bite. And once they bite, well, we got them. America, our nation, stands before an existential threat. The lives of your children and your children's children and your prosperity beyond that dangle above a den of vipers. A corrupt, rootless, global, tyrannical elite has usurped your democracy and turned it into a weapon, first to enslave, then to replace you. That literally sounds like what white people did everywhere that they went. So my question is, who are these? If it's not the white people that did that and still have their flags flying in those places today, who is it that did this? Who are these people talking about? And they're talking about these elites. What color are these elites? Who are these people? Who is this shadowy figure that we all should be worried about? But they're specifically targeting white people, allegedly. Nobody's targeting white people. You know what I'm saying? But who are they? Why is it that we only hear these things in terms of shadows and we never hear specifics? Who are these people? Put up mugshots, put up pictures. Who are these people that they're talking about? Do you all know who these people are? Who are they talking about? Does anybody know? So now here it says, in a similarly theatrical performance, members of PF besieged a group of Houston anarchists at a book fair at the Multicultural Education through Arts Community Center on September 24th of 2017. A group attending a seminar refusing fascism titled Punching Nazis barricaded themselves in the building while masked members of PF and local affiliates of the neo-Nazi website Daily Stormer and the white nationalist radio network, The Right Stuff, lit flares and chanted outside the building. All right. Right. What color is he? Let's not get it twisted. These people like to get besides themselves when they should actually be in front of themselves looking at a mirror. See, when you get beside yourself, you can't see yourself if you're looking straight ahead. Get in front of yourself, in front of a mirror. You know what I'm saying? Raciu maintains strict control over PF. Members are barred from holding membership with any rival organization and must regularly engage in activism, such as posting flyers in their local communities or risk expulsion. Members typically mundane local activism is then distributed across PF social media accounts alongside ostentatious quotes from PF's manifesto. Now, what I find fascinating is that manifesto. Let's compare it to the Chad manifesto. Now, here's what I find fascinating, right? So you got to be careful how you talk about that, but this is what I'm going to do. My question is this statement true? Now they got Whoopi Goldberg in trouble for that, but let's actually talk about that. Because what I'm trying to figure out is, how are you European and not white? How does that work? You can't be black and not be considered any form of African. So how does that work? How does that work? So here's my question. How does one get to be a race and a religion? How does that happen? Race depicts your genetics and religion depicts your culture. You know what I'm saying? Here's what the science says. How does that work? How do we just get to play these kind of games? See, there's transracialism going on, and I've talked about that transracialism before, and I talked about it in terms of Rachel Dolezal, but she's not the only person that's been doing it. I'm going to show you guys a quick video clip if I could find it. Give me 1 second here, and while I'm looking for it. Okay, here we go. I want you guys to listen to this. And I'm not going to say anything because, like I said, they like to really heavily censor conversations about this topic the same way they like to censor the same way they censored everything else. So shouts out to We Woke Now. I met this cat through Moxie. He got some really good content. You guys should check him out. Black content creators should support each other because YouTube's not gonna. You know what I'm saying? Shouts out to Alonda. What up with it, Alonda? What's good? So now this is what I want you guys to answer. And see, it's not that you don't understand it, Tilo Brown. It's that it doesn't make any sense because it's not correct. So you're not the problem. The problem is them trying to explain something illogical, which we'll be talking about on Black Light Revelations later on when we talk about Matt Walsh and the What is a Woman documentary that he did. We're going to be doing an ongoing video about that. Shouts out to my man, Terrence Jackson. What's going on with it, Terrence? So let's check this out.
This author, Nat Hopkinson, is a culture professor at Howard University. She has hit back saying that people who have, quote, become white shouldn't be educating Black people on oppression, hinting at these Jewish critics. So the bottom line is, Are Jews white? Are Jews white? Are Jews white? All right, now race.
Okay, so now I'm going to ask you guys the question. Is grass green? Shout out to my man RG Titan. Is grass green? Is the sky blue? So if you guys get where I'm going, this is the original utilization of the people of color trick bag. And he'll also verify that it's the original people of color trick bag, because what I want you guys to pay attention to is I want you to pay attention to the reason why they don't associate with being white. Even though when you look at the video from CNN and they talk about being, quote, honorary whites, but now all of a sudden we're not white. I mean, if you have a cultural pattern of double talk, that says something, right? Now, I want you guys to give me a second, because I actually want to follow this video up with another video, but it's going to take me a minute to find it. So just give me a second, all right? I hate having this dead airtime, but it's important because I want to put this all into context so that it makes sense. But it might take a while to find. So let me just see here. Let's see. If you guys haven't smashed that like button, help your boy out and smash that like button. Let me see. There was a book that got banned. I think it was called Miles or something like that. Do you guys recall that? And Professor Black Truth had did a video about it. And I want to show an excerpt from it. Hold on real quick. Hold on. You guys remember the name of that book? I think I found it. I think I might have found it. Okay. Yeah. I think we got it. So I want you guys to listen to this first, all right? Yeah.
This author, Nat Hopkinson, is a culture professor at Howard University. She has hit back, saying that people who have, quote, become white shouldn't be educating Black people on oppression, hinting at these Jewish critics. So
now, what I want you guys to do is keep what she says as far as becoming white on your palate, because there's validity to that, and we'll get into it. All right. Maz, yeah. And Professor Black Truth did a really good video about that. And that's the video that I actually want to find. And I'm actually gonna try to find it while this is playing.
The bottom line is, are Jews white? Are white? Are Jews white? All right, now race has been a hot button issue for 2020, and this week, Jewish, quote, whiteness is in the spotlight. Prominent Jewish writers are slamming the author of a New York Times op-ed endorsing preacher Louis Farrakhan by failing to mention his anti-Semitic and homophobic.
Okay, now here's what I got to say about this. Here's what I got to say about this. If these people can sit there and say that they're not white, then as far as I'm concerned, to further separate ourselves from the diaspora to push our own political needs, foundational Black Americans and American descendants of slaves can say that we're not Black. Why not? If they can do it, we can do it. Because it's the same logic. Oh, you're not? Okay, well then neither are we. I mean, because we're not genetically the same as African. However, I mean, we're not genetically the same as Africans because of the admixtures that took place during slavery. However, the people who are using that defense can't say that. You see, you guys can't say that. We can say that. Shouts out to my man Solo. You see what the science says, that scientifically you can't separate yourself from that. Scientifically, percentage-wise of DNA admixture, we legitimately can. So now, again, the only question that I'm asking is to make it make sense. Now, shouts out to Mr. Knickerbocker. What's good with it, Mr. Knickerbocker? Arabs and Latinos are clearly mixed race. Clearly. And to be honest, on a macro level, everybody, for the most part, is somewhat mixed. But again, this is for purposes of wordplay that these people are using. That doesn't say that they're mixed. That says they're genetically that. So there's nothing mixed there. So what race are they mixed with? I mean, what? Slavic and WASP? That's not mixed race. That's mixed culture. That's like saying that somebody that's Japanese with a Japanese mom and a Korean dad is mixed race. Or that's like saying somebody with a Nigerian mom and a Congolese dad is mixed race. That's not mixed race. You know what I'm saying? So like what it comes down to is like, man, we've got to nail this down and put the pins in it and not let these people get away with their own nonsense. You see what I'm saying? And when I say these people, and when I'm talking about this nonsense, I'm talking about all these people and all this nonsense. Because again, if they're allowed to utilize this, if they can pick and choose when they want to be a person of color or when they want to be not white, then by all practical means, anybody who's a foundational Black American or a descendant of slavery, because of our DNA, we should literally be justifiably able to say, okay, that's cool. We ain't Black then. We're not saying we're white. Just for purposes of distinction, we're not Black. And it's legitimate. Oh, come now. Come now. I mean, you're not Black. I mean, okay, well, come now, you're not white. I mean, come now, you're white. The fuck? So, but there's a specific reason of why they utilize whiteness where they can, until an actual white person says, not today. Today, I'm going to remind you of where you stand. But until that happens, they get to circulate. So now there's a specific reason why they do it. And he's going to say that reason. Okay. He's going to say that reason. So before we get into it, I want to ask you guys, well, what is that reason? What do you guys think that reason is? Because there is a specific reason. And if you sit back and if you think about it, it'll make sense really, really, really quickly. So what do you guys think? Man, that video might have got banned. Damn, I can't find it.
Views. This author, Nat Hopkinson, is a culture professor at Howard University. She has hit back, saying that people who have, quote, become white shouldn't be educating Black people on oppression, hinting at these Jewish critics. So the bottom line is, are Jews white? Well, joining us for our weekly segment, Bottom Line, is Algeminer CEO David Efune. So David, let's jump right in. Genetically speaking, are Jews white?
Well, Natasha, it's important to understand, firstly,
No, answer the question. Like, I want you guys to pay attention. She asked a very direct question, and pay very close attention how he just literally, first, I mean, he's behaving like a white supremacist. He was asking, so behaviorally, pay attention to the behavior patterns. She asked a specific question, but because I'm white and I say so, I'm going to give an explanation for something else instead of answering the very simple yes or no question that the woman asked him. So the behavior patterns and the brainwave patterns are the same. I can do whatever I want to simply because of who I am. I don't have to follow any rules, including if asked a question that the answer is yes or no to, I'll give a more elaborate answer. So again, when it comes to cultural issues, thinking patterns and behavior patterns are part of culture. So again, she asked a specific question and we just get the rambling that we usually get.
CEO David Efune. So David, let's jump right in. Genetically speaking, are Jews white?
Now let's logically look at that, because we've already done the sky is blue and the grass is green thing. Is that a yes or no question? Is that a yes or no question? And I agree with that, but at the same time, coons have their own culture, and many times they don't align with blacks. You know what I mean? So, but they're still black. Candace Owen is a coon, and black conservatives and black coons and black Sambos have their own specific culture. And most times they don't align with black, but they're still black though. Russians a lot of times don't align with the greater European agenda. Some Russians are Slavic people and other Russians are Asians. You know what I mean? So my question is, I mean, my question is, that is a light-skinned black person black? Now, that's actually a legitimate question, because some light-skinned black people can be mixed race. Some light-skinned black people are indeed, you know, just they're black. They're black. They have two black parents. Does this guy have two white parents? Shouts out to my man Ricky Jones. What up with it, bro? And again, I mean, like, we're now down to the zeros and ones. You know what I'm saying? Like we're gonna hammer this in. You know what I'm saying? We're down to the zeros and the ones. We're down to the codons, and the codons say that. That's what the codons say. That's what your DNA says. That's what your double helix Watson Crick says. Who, you know, Watson and Crick were white supremacists, by the way, but that's another story for another day. So, like, my thing is, again, also, in addition to the visual appearance, the mental schematic is the same. We're playing the game of, I'm not going to answer a simple question. So again, so not only is there a physical similarity, but there's a cultural similarity as well. I don't have to do what I'm being asked, even though I came to this interview to be interviewed. You know what I'm saying? Look at this.
Bottom Line is Algeminer CEO David Efune. So David, let's jump right in. Genetically speaking, are Jews white?
Now that's a yes or no question. Genetically speaking. Okay. Genetically speaking, right? Okay, so here's what the scientists say. The specific question that was asked was genetically speaking. Okay, genetically speaking. There we go. Now, there was somebody in here talking about some we was Kangs babble. This looks like some we was pilgrims science that's saying this. So, just so we're all clear. This looks like some we was Europeans, even though we came from Ireland. Babble. You know. This looks like some Irish we was slaves babble. You know what I'm saying? So, just so we're all clear. You know what I'm saying? I mean, actually, to be honest, since we're talking about genetics, we're not all clear. Since we're all melanated and some of us are clear. We've already seen where not being accurate gets us into trouble. Let's be accurate. You know.
Well, Natasha, it's important to understand, firstly, the intense sensitivity that this question has for the Jewish community. And
no, there's no community issue in answering a yes/no question, yes or no. Yes or no. Well, thank goodness we've had honest geneticists who are probably not very honest at all answer the question. And you see, when it comes to this article doesn't say anything about babbling about any community. This article does no community babble. A new study suggests that at least their matrilineal lineage may derive largely from Europe. And when it comes to matrilineal lineage, if you guys understand how right of return works, you're considered that specific ethnicity based on your matrilineal lineage. That's how you get your right of return. So they know this already. They know this already. See how that works? Y'all see how that works?
Actually, it's coming up at a personally very relevant time for me. Today is the anniversary of the passing of my great-grandfather.
Nobody asked you about your great-grandfather, but since you can't seem to stay on track, is he white? I mean, she asked a very simple question, yes or no question, and we've got a paragraph, we've got a dissertation. But if you ask repeatedly and repeatedly ask this question, then all of a sudden somehow you become an anti-Semite. You're an anti-Semite for asking this question, but if I say I'm foundational Black American, don't consider me Black or African American, you're a laughing stock. Make it make sense. Now, am I suggesting that Black people do that? No. What I'm doing is telling you to use that as a thought exercise because it's the same frame of logic. You're not allowed to do it, but these people are. They can bounce in and out of being a person of color while at the same time getting with this other dominant group and exerting racism. But now in this wake of being criticized by this Black woman, now all of a sudden the Black woman is being a racist, despite calling out cultural inconsistencies. Pay very close attention because this guy is even going to call her woke. This guy is even going to call her woke. Ah, yeah, I got it. All right, look. Now, this is what I want you to hear. Professor Black Truth. All right, you guys got to hold on for a quick second. Now, and this is my thing. This has to be we gotta drive this home. There's got to be the nail in the coffin. Ain't nobody playing these games out here, because that's how they get to take advantage of things and utilize and weaponize organizations like the SPLC and the ADL, and then turn around and use the rights that they got Henry Moskowitz hijacking what Martin Luther King was doing, and then turn around and have the nerve to say, well, how did racism affect anybody alive today? Now, check this out.
Fellow soldiers, I'm the professor, and this is the moment of truth.
A Tennessee school board has banned the critically acclaimed graphic novel Mouse. One school board member commenting on the book saying, quote, "It shows people hanging, it shows them killing kids. Why does the educational system promote this kind of stuff? It is not wise or healthy." What do you...
The education system in the United States was guilty of being a part of doing those acts to black people, but that's neither here nor there. Now, I want you to pay attention to this.
Worry is on the horizon if there is a part of this country that cannot be learning about the Holocaust in the way it happened.
Now, these very people that are now up in arms because Mouse is getting banned by Ron DeSantis, and these people in Tennessee, mind you, the people in Tennessee voted pro-slavery literally earlier this year. This guy right here with the glasses will be the first one to say, well, black people, they don't have it hard. They've never had it hard. I mean, nothing's really happened to them. My family came here from Germany, and we do very well. Now, all of a sudden, we're wooing to CNN. Now, pay very close attention to what else he says.
Well, I think it's already started happening. Like I said, the dog whistles abound. You know, I think there's a moment in there where I thought
we all need to hold hands in solidarity. We all need to hold hands in solidarity, because our history, what happened to us back home, is getting taken out of the schools. Right. Like what happened to us here at our home, right? Well, I mean, it wasn't that bad what was going on to you, but you've seen all of the terrible, horrible things that happened to us over history. But I mean, you are here in the United States. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. Get out. You know what I'm saying? Watch.
Jews were honorary white people.
Boom.
But it's
what did he just say? Now, he is not getting criticized, but the black professor is. He said this.
The dog whistles abound. You know, I think there's a moment in there where I thought Jews were honorary white people.
Like I said, they are, until white people say, we're going to make sure that we have our lines crossed. We're going to make sure you can be, anybody can be an honorary white person, but when it's time for us to start beating up on everybody, you're all going to know your place. Until then, we don't feel like beating you up or killing you anymore. Then you can return to the subordinate order. See, white people are fixed at the top, black people are fixed at the bottom, and everybody else is basically in a machine like the lottery that just pops the balls all over the place, and then it puts them in order. And then you stay in that order as long as you behave, or until the white supremacists decide to start laying down the law because they're bored, which they get bored frequently, because when you own and run everything, you got plenty of time on your hands to play confusing games and confuse people or just abuse people. That's what people do. So now nobody's criticizing him, and he's the one that said that. He said he thought that he was an now this guy is that ethnicity, and he said he thought that they were honorary, that particular race. He said that. It's okay for him to say that. So by him saying that, I mean, they, in observation, you can see that they operate that way. But Now, what kind of babble is this? We've talked about Mayo babble. Somebody came in and said that this was King babble. What kind of babble is this? Or is this intellectual dissertation? Because it's coming from somebody clear, so everything has to be clear. Easy to understand, I guess, right? You see how this shit all breaks down? This is why don't go there. Just behave like a normal human being and don't go there. Because see, then when you go there and when somebody else that's ready to knock you out with one hit goes there with you, then it's like, oh, hold on, hold on now, stop the fight. Oh, hold on, I gotta use. No. Let's get it. Let's get it in. You know what I'm saying? Let's actually get it in. Let's go there. You see what I'm saying? Because I spend a lot of time trying to just talk and trying to, do my content and things like that. And then people want to go there. But see, when I tell you I'm going to go there and lock you in a box, nail the box to the ground, and you're going to stay there, and then I'm going to kick the box as I feel like it. Now we got to back up. Oh, hold on. Whoa. I didn't know this was going to be all like that. Well, that's why you don't poke a bear. That's why you don't poke a bear. That's why you don't stick your hand in a hornet's nest.
It shows people hanging. It shows them killing kids. Why does the educational system promote this kind of stuff? It is not wise or healthy. What do you worry is on the horizon if there is a part of this country that cannot be learning about the Holocaust in the way it happened?
Well, I think it's already started happening. Like I said, the dog whistles abound. I think there was a moment in there where I thought Jews were honorary white people, but it seems that
what does that entail? What does that mean? I thought Jews were honorary white people. Mind you, that's what he said, not me. What does that mean? I've never thought that I was honorary anything. I've always identified myself and just I'm just a black dude. I'm just some black dude. I'm not any more black than anybody else. I'm not any less black than anybody else. I'm just some black dude. It never matters if you're black. At least back in the day, it didn't really matter so much. Nowadays, people are really extra cooning. So now they try to find, if they have like 2% of something else, they try to say that that's what they are. But, I've never said that I am honorary anything else. So how can you be honorary something else? So what that says is we're looking at all three of these people, right? Genetically, here's the facts on what these people test results show. We've talked about the court case of Dow versus the United States. So now when people get upset because I say white isn't a race, it's a social construct. There's a court case called Dow versus the United States that establishes the definition of white for immigration and naturalization purposes that allows Syrian Christians to immigrate here to the United States. There's all of the Jim Crow and Black Code laws of the United States. Basically, if you are not somebody that was affected by that, then you're white. In addition to the European DNA. Make it make sense. So now that's part of the privilege, being able to bounce in and out. See, we can't bounce in and out of being a people of color or a black person as we want to. But this is a privilege here. See, white Latinos, white Asians, and other Europeans and Asians are able to freely go from being white to being, quote, people of color. We're stuck being black. So people of color, it doesn't do anything. As long as you still have the standard being white and black people fixed at the bottom as the bottom class, those people inside that range, that spectralized racial category of people of color, can go in and out as they want to. That's like, imagine a science fiction movie where there's a dimensional portal. Shout out to my man Mike Melajohn. What's up with you? And one person can only stay fixed in this reality, but everybody else can move in and out of the dimensional porthole as they wish. And then there's another group on the other side of the universe that's stuck in their dimension. Like X-Men. Bishop is a people of color. Now, of course, we all know that Bishop is a black guy, but Bishop can travel through time. So he can exist in one Marvel universe and exist in the other Marvel universe while still fighting Apocalypse in his universe. That's what people of color can do. People of color can utilize some elements of white privilege, and at the same time, they can switch back to being a person of color and then attempt to try to hop onto the minority and disproportionate issues. And then at the same time, once they've benefited from that, swing the pendulum back around and turn around and tell you, well, how does racism affect anybody that's alive today? If racism doesn't affect anybody alive today, shouldn't be no people of color category. You should just be white. Dummy. The reason why people of color exist is because white people don't want to claim y'all, but they want to use y'all as a weapon to ensure the hierarchy of us being at the bottom. Why don't you turn around and ask, if you got straight hair and clear skin, why aren't you white? If you have European DNA, you can trace your DNA back to, Spain or Portugal or a place like that. Why aren't you white? We didn't make those rules. Shouts out to Carla Lockhart. What's good with it? So now, again, this black professor is being, oh, shit. What the hell? Hold on real quick. God damn it.
Good evening.
Here his ass comes. Hold on real quick. Good evening. Wait a minute. Hold on.
Family and fellow soldiers, I'm the professor, and this is the moment of truth.
A Tennessee school board has banned the critically acclaimed graphic novel Mouse. One school board member commenting on the book saying, quote, "It shows people hanging. It shows them killing kids. Why does the educational system promote this kind of stuff? It is not wise or healthy." What do you worry is on the horizon if there is a part of this country that cannot be learning about the Holocaust in the way it happened?
Well, I think it's already started happening. Like I said, the dog whistles abound. You know, I think there's a moment in there where I thought Jews were honorary white people.
So now then why is this same group of people up in arms when Whoopi Goldberg said, well, that was white on white violence? You thought you were honorary whites, but then when somebody addresses you as a white, you're outraged. I need help. I need you guys to make this make sense to me. I need you guys to make this make sense to me. That excerpt is important. Now we're going to play this.
This author, Nat Hopkinson, is a culture professor at Howard University. She has hit back saying that people who have, quote, become white shouldn't be educating Black people on oppression, hinting at these Jewish critics. So the bottom line is, are Jews white?
Ladies and gentlemen, we have 44 likes. If everybody in here smashes that like button, we'll be up over 80. Remember, guys, it's imperative. Your boy got to get them 100 likes every stream. Y'all already know how YouTube does. They hate on your boy. You have never seen a YouTube video on YouTube that has less than 1,000 views that has over 100 likes. Mine consistently do. All of this is a numbers game, and I'm using my numbers to prove that YouTube actually does suppress Black content. So please make sure that you guys help me with that goal. Smash that like button. If we have more likes in the video, than we have views, there's a problem that they're not promoting the content. You know what I'm saying? And that's absolutely very, very accurate. Now, what I want you guys to do is I want you to pay very close attention to the reason why this guy says we're not white. Pay very close attention. Has nothing to do with DNA, has nothing to do with that. I want you to listen to his words.
Are Jews white? Are Jews white? All right. Now, race has been a hot button issue for 2020. And this week, Jewish, quote, whiteness is in the spotlight. Prominent Jewish writers are slamming the author of a New York Times op-ed endorsing preacher Louis.
Is it looked at as an interracial relationship when a European white person and one of these people are in a relationship? When they're together, is that considered an interracial relationship?
Farrakhan by failing to mention his anti-Semitic and homophobic views.
So now this is what they do. They take what they got, what they benefited from by hijacking Martin Luther King, and then turn around and use it to try to throw Louis Farrakhan under the bus. Shouts out to Tammy. What's good with it, Tammy? So now my question is, what harm has Louis Farrakhan ever done to a synagogue? Has Louis Farrakhan ever harmed or caused violence against a synagogue? What I find fascinating is that I'm pretty sure that he hasn't, but the very people who have, the first guy on here thought that he was an honorary one of them. Now, again, this has to be nailed to the coffin and we need to get some clarity on this shit now. You don't get to just go around and say a bunch of stupid ass shit. Back that shit up or shut this shit up.
Slamming the author of a New York Times op-ed endorsing preacher Louis Farrakhan by failing to mention his anti-Semitic and homophobic views. This author, Nat Hopkinson, is...
Nobody has to. The same way that Trump said that there was very fine people at Charlottesville. Fuck out of here with this stupid ass shit. Who the fuck? Are you serious? Nobody has to because you feel a certain kind of way. The fuck out of here. They're making laws to keep history out of school because it hurts little kids' feelings, allegedly. We're supposed to talk about Louis Farrakhan, despite the fact that Louis Farrakhan has never directed violence to be taken out on any of these people. Man, fuck that. I'm not even a nation of Islam. You know, I'm not a Muslim, or I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even agree ideologically with a lot of things that Louis Farrakhan says. However, Louis Farrakhan, to my knowledge, has never attempted to direct violence toward these people. Again, Louis Farrakhan, as far as I'm concerned, from what my understanding is, he's for the most part a separatist that looks to seek independence for people who are part of his nation, which is the Nation of Islam. Now, he may have specific grievances with other groups of people, but having specific grievances does not make you anti those people. I have specific grievances with the white American and white global collective, mainly Western Europeans. However, I don't hate them. I don't want to see harm come to people that are not harming me. I don't promote aggressive, offensive violence against people. I promote terminal defense. There's nothing radical about that. These are the very people that called the Black Panthers radical because they felt that they should have a right to live. Speaking against white people doesn't make somebody a racist. How many white people has he hung? How many white people has he owned? How many businesses has he used to shut white people out? None. The very people that say it's just a word can't take just a word. Speaking out isn't a crime. Calling somebody an Edomite, calling somebody Isu, that's not a crime. The very person that came in calling everybody Kangs, saying we was Kangs, is crying about Farrakhan saying that people are Yaqub's abomination. You can't make it up. The only thing that any black person should ever feel guilty about is to constantly ponder how it is that we find ourselves in this position with such a weak and frail group of people. That's the only thing that anybody should ever have any kind of issue about, because I find it fascinating. I don't understand it. I don't understand it myself. You know what I'm saying? So that's what that's you know, make it make sense. That's the only thing that I ever ask anybody to do, is make it make sense. But remember, in a world of white supremacy, making sense isn't the rule. White supremacy is the rule. So it doesn't have to make sense. It only has to be what's in line with what's necessary right now. Shouts out to Honda 666. What's good with it?
A culture professor at Howard University. She has hit back, saying that people who have, quote, become white shouldn't be educating black people on oppression, hinting at the...
Now, here's my question. Do you agree with that or do you disagree? I agree. I wouldn't have phrased it like that, because that's exactly what those people are looking for, to then hop on and say, look, this is a black person trying to exert racism. What I would have said is, as somebody who dealt with a different oppressive government in a different country, I'm confused as to how you can relate to the oppressive nature of this government that went down here, specifically against my people. I've never downplayed what you went through. I'm trying to figure out how it is that you're teaching me about my experience. That's what I would have said. Some people think that there's empowerment in being vile. I'm gonna say whatever I can that's as excruciatingly hurtful as it can. You're not hurting anybody when you do that. All you're doing is giving ammunition. What hurts is when you hit the bullseye. You see? If you're playing one of those boxing games at the amusement park, you could punch that thing harder than Mike Tyson. But if you don't hit the bullseye, you're not going to win anything. Wild swings like this, I would call what she said a haymaker, even though it's accurate. Bad form. You guys know what bad form does in the gym. Bad form will get you hurt. Bad form will have you sore after your workout. Just emotionally blabbing all over the place and just saying whatever you want to because you think that you're in some position of power and you're going to say something to hurt somebody's feelings. We don't need emotional reparation. We need money. We need resources. We need assets. We need every argument and every encounter won at every time. There's a way to hit hard and clean. You know what I'm saying? There's a way to be a sniper versus a way to let loose a chopper. You see what happens when people let loose choppers. Be a sniper. She let loose a chopper. You know what I'm saying?
These Jewish critics. So the bottom line is, are Jews white? Well, joining us for our weekly segment, Bottom Line, is Algemeiner CEO David Efunis. So David, let's jump right in. Genetically speaking, are Jews white?
Well, I need you guys to answer this question for me in the comment section. And then what else I need you guys to do is I want you guys to listen to everything that he says and tell me whether he answers the questions satisfactorily and appropriately or not.
Natasha, it's important to understand, firstly, the intense sensitivity that this question has for the Jewish community. And actually, it's coming up at a personally very relevant time for me. Today is the anniversary of the passing of my great-grandfather, David Weinstock, who was arrested by the Nazis in Vienna in September 1939. And he was taken to the anthropological department at the Vienna Museum of Natural History, and he was subjected to, together with 440 other Jews, to degrading tests and measurements because he was considered by the Nazis to be of an inferior race.
So now now what this is saying is that because of what Nazis accused, because somebody made an accusation, that somehow alleviates what your DNA test says? Clearly, the Nazis were completely incorrect and wrong about how they felt. But you're latching onto that and saying that because of how Nazis felt, you're not the same race? How does that make sense? How does that make any sense?
So it really is the height of irony and insult that when Jews express concern about anti-Semitism being ignored and a blindness to anti-Semitism, they're then lumped into the white category.
So there you have it. The only reason they attempt to disassociate from that identity when it's convenient is to push forth their own agendas to protect themselves for self-preservation. Still genetically you are, and they also want to try to somehow separate. They want to maximize the situation because they want to separate for themselves from the negative connotations associated with white. Newsflash, you're white. Newsflash, you're European. The fuck? Okay, like, I don't like the fact that we have a high crime rate. So I'm foundational Black American. I'm just not Black. I don't like the fact that there's literacy issues. So I'm just not Black. The fuck? That's not legitimate anywhere. So my question is, why is it legitimate here? Does that make any sense? Does that make any sense? These are part of the things that cause us a lot of problems in the world.
Interesting. All right. So let's break down Ms. Hopkinson's statement that Jews have become white.
Like, we don't like okay, so that's what the professor said. That's what the Black professor said. That's what the Black female professor said. She said the same thing that this guy said. So now they're scrutinizing, again, the same situation with Whoopi Goldberg. They're scrutinizing the Black woman, but not saying anything to correct their own person.
On the book saying, quote, it shows people hanging, it shows them killing kids. Why does the educational system promote this kind of stuff? It is not wise or healthy. What do you worry is on the horizon if there is a part of this country that cannot be learning about the Holocaust in the way it happened?
Well, I think it's already started happening. Like I said, the dog whistles abound. You know, I think there was a moment in there where I thought Jews were honorary white people.
So it's not a problem when he says it, but it is a problem when this white lady says it, though. It is a problem when this Black lady says it, though. But it's not a problem when he says it. Now, here's my question, ladies and gentlemen. I don't like just making YouTube videos about shit. Something should be done about this because, again, like I said, this is weaponized against us. So now, how do you deal with this is the question. There should be no one out there now, after watching this video, who cannot clearly navigate their way through an argument or a debate about this topic. Everybody should have all of the ammo that they need. which means that anytime confronted with any of this kind of nonsense, everybody should easily be able to dispel this nonsense, right? So my question is, how does this persist? And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, we got 60 likes. If everybody in here watches, smashes that like button, we'll have 104 likes. So please make sure you smash that like button. If you're enjoying the content and you have already smashed the like button, throw some thumbs up in the chat.
What do you think that she means by that?
Well, in the language of wokeness, which is, how I would describe the ideology to which she belongs, whiteness isn't just a description of the lowest rung on the ladder of victimhood. It's a pejorative. It's an accusation. It refers to an oppressor, a ruling class, a occupier, or a colonialist, right? So really, in effect, this is another slur that's being used against the Jewish community when there's.
So this dude said that white is a slur against them. Okay, that's cool then. So as far as I'm concerned, black is a slur against foundational black Americans and American descendants of slavery. The fuck out of here. What the fuck kind of shit is this? What is this shit? What is this bullshit? So you can make a logical point and the world laughs at you despite the fact of how logical your point is. So it's a slur to call these people white? Okay, cool. Well, then it's a slur to call us black. The fuck? Notice again, if black people are not here to be a fixed bottom class, then why is it that we're the only people locked into every single category? Any category of everything, despite how diverse we are, despite how mixed we are, despite anything, we're the only people fixed into one category of everything, black. Everybody else can move in and out freely as they want to. Now, I want a white person or somebody that's not black to explain that to me. I want them to shut the fuck up and explain it clearly. Make it make sense. Now, here's my question. Do you think that we'll get an explanation? No, of course not, because we're literally looking at this long-ass explanation, and he still hasn't answered the question with a yes or a no yet. So just bear that all in mind.
Sort of being branded with this label.
Now, most bureaucratic forms in the U.S. require race identification, but limited options exist for many minorities who fall between the cracks here. Is the American system of race identification flawed, in your opinion?
Look,
what I want you to pay attention to is these are two people that look exactly alike that are having a conversation about whether the racial identification system is flawed. They don't have somebody that's visibly identifiably a different race. Make it make sense.
Flawed, in your opinion?
Now, I'm going to ask you guys, do you guys feel that the racial classification system is flawed in your opinion? In my opinion, it's not flawed. It's not flawed at all. It's exactly the way that it's supposed to be. There is no flaw in the racial identification system. The racial identification system is created to identify a fixed top and a fixed bottom and allow flexibility within between to allow support for the top. That's what it was created for. It wasn't created for scientific purposes. It wasn't created to study people to better humanity. It was created for tyrannical exploitation of people, property, and land. It wasn't created to learn. Maybe if I study black people, maybe I can, improve other races of people, and, we can do genetic experiments and improve humanity as a whole. That's not what it was made for. They weren't even doing that shit back then during that time. It was made for exploitation of non-white people. And it has worked. So no, it's not flawed. You see, that's the crude reality of it. The crude reality of it is that the racial classification system is a weapon, and it's destructive, and it's still destroying, which means that it's still working. If I shoot a nuclear missile and it continues to emit radiation for 100 years and keeps that area vacant, the weapon was effective. Race and racism has been affected because you can't have racism without race, which is the reason why they created race. The very people who created racism are not going to sit there and tell me we're all in this together. We would have been all in it together had you not created racism to try to show people who's who because you feel a certain kind of way about yourself. The fuck? It's the biggest hypocritical nonsense to see people outraged talking about all lives matter. You're the one that created the classification of black. The fuck you talking about? It would have been all lives matter until you decided to split everybody up. So if you really are that outraged, instead of attempting to correct somebody's English, correct the situation. Correct the situation. Yeah, we're absolutely destroyed because regardless of how much my hardworking self paid for my computer and paid for my home, I still have two people here on my computer screen that can't disseminate common sense ideology because of the destruction of their brain based on incorrect information. So everything's not based on a dollar value. I mean, if you have a life insurance policy that's worth $100,000, you know what I'm saying? Euthanize yourself, Tony. You know what I mean? I'm sure you have beneficiaries that could benefit from it, and you're holding it back by not euthanizing. So do that. Everything's not based on money. I'm sure you'd rather live your life than have that cash payout. Affecting somebody's brain and thought process where people can't even look at grass and see that it's green. I'm affected by that because I have two people of the same race here who are discussing race, which I'm a different race, and their warped view of it is what affects me. Yeah, that's damage. As a privileged prick, you wouldn't understand that. The only thing that you would understand how to do is suck spaghetti through a straw and call people jigaboos and go to black neighborhoods and sell drugs. So there's that. So now that's a good point. What is the brain value of these people? Because in a capitalist society, if you take these ideologies to a news show like CNN Plus or Black News Channel, you spend millions of dollars and your company flops, it bankrupts. There's your capitalism. In a capitalist society, everything that was created here in the United States started off with zero investment and was stolen. It doesn't matter if you did it. You don't work for the media. You're just a member of the 70% majority whose nonsense and delusion moves the way of the country. So being a part of a mass of zombies, you make it inconvenient for everybody else being a fucking idiot. 70% of the population's being fucking morons and negligent makes it inconvenient for everybody else. So because you're completely clueless, just like these people, imagine driving in a street where 70% of the people don't know how to properly operate a motor vehicle. That's white people here in the United States. So yeah, it doesn't matter about $1,500. somebody that's white and is a prison release with felons because of this understanding of race that white people created makes $100,000 a year in comparison to somebody that's black with a PhD that averages $45,000 a year. That's damage. That's damage. And of course you wouldn't understand that because you don't have to deal with that. But what you could do if you actually gave a shit is shut the fuck up and look up the statistics on income and education across races before you open your vagina-shaped mouth. That's what would help if you actually want to help, which you don't want to help, because why would anybody want to help a situation where they have a cheat code? I mean, let's keep it 100. Everybody who played Contra back in the day, everybody said up, up, down, down, left, right, BA start. Nobody ran through Contra with 3 lives. Let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a buck. You know what I thought about when I was 13? I thought about, why is it that all of these white people are saying they're German and Irish and Russian and Slavic, and when it comes to me and my family and everybody else, we're all just black. That's what I was saying. And then you know what I found out? I found out that, oh, that's because we're still wearing a cattle brand as our last name. That's what I thought about when I was 13. I believe when I was 13, the Malcolm X movie came out. What were you thinking about? What kind of tiramisu you wanted to scarf down?
To fall between the cracks here. Is the American system of race identification flawed, in your opinion?
Look, there's probably a limit to how many options you can put on these forms. I can tell you in my own experience that I always leave them blank because
the United States has always been super racialized. That's the reason why none of us know our heritage. Again, that's not now. This was when I was 13. And it's not about America being super racialized. When you look at other people and you see they have family ties to things that you don't have family ties, as a fellow human being, you ask yourself, why do they have that and I don't? And let me tell you something. I'm going to give you a quick hint. The reason why black people have white last names is not because of single parent households. The reason why Latinos have Spanish last names is not because of single parent households. It's because of pathetic people that can't pick their own cotton because they'll incinerate if they're out too long. That's what it's about. Why don't you? I mean, honestly, you're here in America. Your name sounds a little bit ethnic. What are you, a beaner? You see how that works? Like, white people 101. Change anybody's last name to what? This is what I'm saying. Like, you people have no, it's not that you don't have it. It's that you think that this shit is funny. And this is a good exercise and a good thing for people to see. You have to understand that this is the mentality. They think that it's funny. Yeah, we got your last names. You know what I'm saying? That's permanent ownership. Just saying. Why don't you just change your last name? I mean, I'm white and I say so. I can just say that I'm not white. I can just say that I am white. I can tell you that you're not black. You see? White people like to tell black people that they're not black too. I remember I was watching a debate and somebody was some white dude was saying that Yvette Carnell isn't black. I'm like, what? That doesn't work. Having to have things rooted in factual evidence and scientific process is what Patriot Front is so upset about, because factual reality is becoming the rule. Well, it should be becoming a rule, but it's not. We're moving into a post-truth reality. But in most cases in a debate, you can't just talk as a white person and everybody's going to shut up. You can't just say something that's the most completely earthwormish statement in the world, and somebody's just not going to step on you and then, smush you into the concrete. It's not that way. And people are outraged about that because they've been told and they have the expectation that over time, regardless of anything that they do, as nonsensical as they can, it doesn't matter. Now, what about Jackie Johnson in the case of Ahmaud Arbery, where Ahmaud Arbery's killers, and the other DA all conspired to get Ahmaud Arbery's killers off and not have him arrested? I mean, despite the fact that I have a computer allegedly that costs $1,500, I mean, that didn't make anything significantly difficult that somebody in those positions could just literally easily do that to any one of us like they did to Ahmaud Arbery, right? I mean, like $1,500 with a computer. I mean, that didn't stop Amber Geiger from just walking in the house and popping Botham John. It didn't stop Peyton Gendron, did it? $1,500. I mean, hell, look at, $1,500. That makes you bulletproof, right? Ask the people in Buffalo if $1,500 makes you bulletproof. This is what I'm talking about. This is how everybody got to start being. Man, tighten that leash, and anytime anybody comes in talking crazy, you dog walk them. People want to, I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to ignore. Man, screw that. Screw that. That's how you're supposed to do it. You cannot sit there and make arguments that don't make any sense. You can't sit there and say that the grass is blue. I mean, they actually have a kind of grass called Kentucky bluegrass, but I mean, you see the state where it's coming from. We're just going to say the grass is blue. It's not. It's green. But again, we're talking about Kentucky here. That's why it's called Kentucky bluegrass. It's not blue. It's green. But it doesn't have to be green. We can call it blue, because why does anything have to make sense when I have my privilege and I can just say what the fuck I want to say, and it's basically let there be light? Just saying. But remember, people still practice that.
I don't feel that there's a category that refers to me specifically, and I'm sure that's the case with many American Jews and many other minorities across the country. Whether there are more details.
Now, what's going on in the place where these people are from with these kind of people here? What's going on? Are they getting treated equally? Is it all, all one big happy family there? Is it we're all in this together as brothers there? Or are those people facing some specific issues that sound very familiar? And yeah, please, ladies and gentlemen, make sure y'all smash that like button if you haven't already. That definitely helps. What do you guys think? What do you guys think?
Categories that can be introduced. I think that's a question for the bureaucrats, and obviously there's a question over the practicality of that, but certainly to take into account categories that are not currently accounted for would not be a bad thing.
Now, in 2020, a lot of conversation has surrounded the concept of privilege. How wrong is it to confuse white privilege with any privilege American Jews may experience?
There is no confusion. It's the same thing, except for when the main white people want to remind them that they're not acknowledged as the same kind of white. Can't argue with that. If you guys agree with Wigga, give me a thumbs up in the chat. If you disagree, give me a thumbs down.
Look, I think, first of all, there's certainly a responsibility for any civilized society to help disadvantaged groups. But
yet again, I mean, she asked a very simple question. Very simple question. I want you guys to pay close attention to her question. I mean, she's really giving him an easy interview. I mean, this interview could have been over in 5 seconds. Facts. There are people facing issues from them while co-opting with them and exerting it at the same time. So it's like a two-headed snake, literally. Probably one of the reasons why there's a triangle upside down and a triangle right side up. But again, you know, symbols mean nothing, right?
Now, in 2020, a lot of conversation has surrounded the concept of privilege. How wrong is it to confuse white privilege with any privilege American Jews may experience?
Look, I think, first of all, there's certainly a responsibility for any civilized society to help disadvantaged groups. But the concept of defining these groups along racial terms, of defining white as the oppressor and other races as necessarily the oppressed, I think.
Now, do you see how he's getting on code with white supremacy there? I want you to understand that. And that's the reason why they want to make the specific separation. Well, we don't want to be associated with that. But at the same time, you're woke because you're saying people like me are oppressors. Pay very close attention.
Civilized society to help disadvantaged groups. But the concept of defining these groups along racial terms, of defining white as the oppressor.
Now, notice how in this race conversation, it's only white people. Okay, cool. So I'm not black anymore. Notice how in any situation, everybody else has flexibility, but we're locked in. She'll sit here and entertain this conversation, but if I go and say, well, I'm not black anymore, and here's the reasons why, I would literally get laughed off stage, not only by her, but by other white people and other black people. Other black people would laugh at me the most and call me a coon, despite the fact that I'm using that argument to try to help people have an argument when people do this kind of stuff. Let that marinate. What I'm saying is, if these people can use this logic, and this logic apparently is applicable and it's accepted, then again, as foundational Black Americans, American descendants of slavery, or whether you believe everything that Dane Calloway says, regardless, if you're any one of those groups of people, based on this logic, we can legitimately say that we're not black. Now, will it be accepted? The reason why something gets accepted versus not accepted is whether people have the power to be able to force an idea on somebody. So it doesn't matter how nonsensical it is. You see, these people can force this idea on you, because who's the most fearful people to talk about? Well, I can't talk about this because I'll get censored. They have everybody in check. We've got no one in check. So when it comes to what it is that we need to be doing, we need to be establishing our operant conditioning, positive and negative reinforcement of making sure certain things are understood and people are in check. But for whatever reason, we find it more entertaining and thrifty to check ourselves and check each other all the time while this is going on out here. You know what I'm saying? Shouts out to Val Williams. What's good with it, Val?
A responsibility for any civilized society to help disadvantaged groups. But the concept of defining these groups along racial terms, of defining white as the oppressor and other races as necessarily the oppressed, I think is deeply problematic and run.
Now, but it's not problematic that black people are stuck in a box. It's problematic because of what doesn't work for him, as long as everybody understands that there's a little black cube that black people are stuck in, but everybody else can move freely as they wish. No, this is an incorrect race conversation because it's not happening between two people of a different race.
To the concept of what America stands for. I mean, the Jewish experience in America has largely shown that disadvantage and historic oppression can.
Where was that at? I think you have us mixed up with Germany. We actually kind of helped with stopping what was going on with Germany. But did those people do anything to stop what was going on here during the 1960s? Because when they were dealing with what it was they were dealing with, that was in the 1940s, which we still had Jim Crow and black codes here. They didn't come here and deal with that. They came here and hijacked what Martin Luther King was doing. A guy named Henry Motzkowitz. So my thing is why does this kind of stuff go unchecked? Is my question. That's my question for everybody that's watching right now. Why does this stuff go unchecked? How does this stuff go unchecked? You know what I'm saying? Like, how is this okay? Does it make any sense? Make it make sense. Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, we got 43 likes. If everybody watching smashes that like button, we will have 89 likes. So remember, help your boy out. Make sure y'all smash that like button. Boom. That's what always happens. But yet and still, we's the gods that helps everybody's. Oohs, they's a mights, a call us, a anti this, a anti that, and the we's a canes, a bees, a calls of that. Are you serious? The people that are oppressors actually consider it a badge of honor when people call them racist. Instead, when you call a white person racist, they say nowadays they call honesty racism. But we's the gods of bees, as us, a morals, as a compass. Fuck all that. I'm trying to be a broken compass out here. I'm not a good Samaritan, and I ain't no compass. You know what I'm saying? I don't have the directions to anything except that damn check. Then maybe we can talk.
Of defining these groups along racial terms, of defining white as the oppressor and other races as necessarily the oppressed, I think is deeply problematic and runs counter to the concept of what America stands for. I mean, the Jewish experience in America has largely shown that disadvantage and historic oppression can be overcome. And this is really...
Name me the events of historic oppression and the system and institutes. Please. If we historically oppressed these people, then what do you consider slavery here in the United States? And then the period of Jim Crow afterwards. What do you consider the apartheid? What do you consider dropping 2 nuclear bombs on Japan? Are we serious here?
What the core of the American experience stands for and what makes America different. So sort of defining and throwing people into boxes on the first day, even from childhood, which some of this ideology works.
Now, I find that funny because we're the only ones that are still in the box. So he's talking about people being in boxes, but make close certain that you understand his people being out of a box is dependent on us being in a box. So what he's saying is that, you know, for our ethnic group needs to not be in that box. But as far as anybody else goes, you know, I mean, you're basically on your own. I mean, like, we're not all in this together. As long as you understand who I'm speaking for, who I'm dealing with, just understand that. You see, and it's always like that. And it's always that way. And people need to understand that. You're not like, we're not in it together. We're not all in it together as men. There is no sisterhood of feminism. There is no all lives matter. It means all white lives matter only. Pay very close attention to the people who benefited from the hijacking of Martin Luther King's civil rights era activism. Pay very close attention to how they're speaking. Calling somebody woke that literally said something that's the same thing as one of them said. No one calls this out, though. And the reason why no one calls this out is because not only have they established a powerful country that has a lot of nukes that is not compliant with the UN's nuclear audit, but for whatever reason, Iran has to have all of their scientists assassinated. Iran nuclear scientists get assassinated and they're not allowed to have nuclear missiles, and they're getting regulated by a country that's not even compliant with the nuclear regulations, but that's neither here nor there. We're just going to not talk about that because why talk about that? Like, make it make sense. Does that make any sense?
I think is damaging and certainly not helpful in terms of the bottom line result, which is allowing every person the opportunity, that the bottom line goal, which is allowing every person the opportunity to achieve in America, no matter where they come from, what their background is, and certainly what their race is.
Okay, does that include us? Does that include us? Make sure you guys go check out We Woke Now. That's where I watched that video from. We Woke Now is a real cool content creator. You know what I'm saying? I met that brother through Moxie Approved. So now then I want you to hear him say exactly what they are criticizing the black lady for saying.
Novel Mouse. One school board member commenting on the book saying, quote, "It shows people hanging, it shows them killing kids. Why does the educational system promote this kind of stuff? It is not wise or healthy." What do you worry is on the horizon if there is a part of this country that cannot be learning about the Holocaust in the way it happened?
Well, I think it's already started happening. Like I said, the dog whistles abound. You know, I think there's a moment in there where I thought Jews were honorary white people, but it seems that after coming against,
man, I'm dead. All right, Maya, get you some sleep. You know what I'm saying? That's a fact. It really is. And Tesla.
critical race theory is the accusation against books that deal with our history.
Critical race theory is the accusation against the books that deal with our history, your history. Really? Y'all got a lot of books that deal with your history. I mean, allegedly the Bible, other books, now critical race theory. That's interesting.
In the way it happened.
Well, I think it's already started happening. Like I said, the dog whistles abound. You know, I think there's a moment in there where I thought Jews were honorary white people, but it seems that after coming against critical race theory as the accusation against books that deal with our history.
Critical race theory deals with your history. Right. I was being sarcastic. You know what I'm saying? I was being sarcastic, Maxima. You know what I meant. You know what I was doing there. You know what I'm saying? What part of, quote, our history is critical race theory dealing with when it comes to from his perspective? Unless we're talking about the hijacking of the civil rights movement from Henry Mossowitz, then okay, sure. But other than that,
that cannot be learning about the Holocaust in the way it happened.
Well, I think it's already started happening. Like I said, the dog whistles abound. You know, I think there's a moment in there where I thought Jews were honorary white people, but it seems that
good, bro,
after
no worries.
coming against,
trust me, I get it, and you're right. Like, you're right. I just wanted to make sure that, you know what I'm saying, like, you knew, like, I wasn't saying that, bro. I already know. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm doing is I'm trying to establish a pattern of all, like, there's nothing that these people weren't a part of. It seems like, just like the others. You know what I'm saying? Don't even trip, Lala. Wigga said I'm Asian from the waist down. You know what I'm saying? So, you know.
Critical race theory is the accusation against books that deal with our history.
I mean, like this dude, like, and the thing is that I find the most fascinating about this is the newscaster and the other person on here didn't say nothing. She just sitting back in her OnlyFans pose. You know what I'm saying? She just sitting here in the OnlyFans pose.
Never facing up to studying the genocide of Indians. It seems that we're back in a category of, and I say that not as a religious Jew, but as clearly.
I mean, and I'm not trying to be funny, but he called them Indians. Last time I checked, they were considering that a racial slur. Had Farrakhan said it, this dude would have acted like somebody hit him in the chest with a spear.
I say that not as a religious Jew, but as clearly a Jew of some kind, even though I've.
And when
like not a wait, what of some kind? What? Now, make it make sense. But you can just sit here and uphold nonsense. That doesn't make any sense. But you have an entire court system to sit there and tell somebody what they're doing wrong. Are you serious? While we're subjected to sitting here listening to this bullshit, yes manning it like it makes sense. It doesn't. And I'm sorry, I'm not gonna co-sign no bullshit. That doesn't make any sense. If it doesn't make any sense, it doesn't make any sense. I'll just be anti whatever it is that I gotta be.
It seems that we're back in a category of, and I say that not as a religious Jew, but as clearly a Jew of some kind.
We're back in a category. We're back, bro. What are you talking about? See, this is what I'm talking about that babbling. Never allow babbling. If somebody attempts to babble in the conversation, we're done. There's nothing going to come from this. You're going to either answer straight and communicate and talk communicably, or we're done. I'm not sitting here listening to no babbling. I don't tolerate babble. You know what I'm saying? Answer what I asked you. Have an intelligent discourse where ideas are conveyed as completely and thoroughly as possible, or move on. What is this? My question to you guys is, does this make any sense? Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, we got 67 likes. If everybody smashes that like button, we will be at 106. So please, everybody, take a moment. If you haven't smashed that like button, please make sure you smash the like button. If you're not subscribed to my backup channels, please take a moment, hit those backup channels. Also, make sure that you do the survey that's in the chat. If you got a notification for this stream from YouTube, throw some radiation emojis in the chat. If you did not, give me some thumbs down and make sure you hit the description box and follow my other social media so that you do not miss a notification. All right.
Books that deal with our history, never facing up to studying the genocide of Indians. It seems that we're back in a category of, and I say that not as a religious Jew, but as clearly a Jew of some kind.
They shouldn't be.
And
they shouldn't be. They got the most nuclear weapons on the planet. So yeah, I mean, what the hell? I mean, when you got all the damn nukes, what are you scared of? They have a unknown amount of nuclear weapons stockpiled. They've been in violation with the UN over their stockpile of nuclear weapons for years. Things like the Talpiot project, like they have like the scared thing is an act. If they have a whole entire military branch that will come and, you know what I'm saying, assist them with any issues that they may have. You know what I'm saying? Anywhere, anytime. Like there's own special E911 with the damn military. So like, yeah, scared of what? The Shi'ar alien empire and Dark Phoenix coming down or something? You know what I'm saying?
When they tried to erase black people's history, I said nothing because I wasn't black. And then they finally came for me, and I looked around and realized black people were the only ones actually trying to preserve history, and I realized there was no one to stop them from erasing mine.
Facts, Professor Black Truth, as always. So, how are you? I mean, what if I said that? I mean, I'm some kind of black person. You see, we can't even some kind of black person ourselves. We can't even do that. You know what I'm saying? We can't even do that. So now here it says RASU maintains strict control over PF. Members were barred from holding membership with any other rival organization and must engage regularly in activism, which I find fascinating. They must engage in racism actively too. You know what I'm saying? They must engage in racism actively too. You know what I mean? So now here it says the group's top-down discipline and brand consistency have found success, while many peer groups have struggled to maintain relevance. The fallout from Unite the Right left many other white nationalist groups completely alienated from the mainstream politics. PF, though, through its garish patriotism, has also managed to rehabilitate explicitly fascist agenda of VA with a foothold on some major social media platforms for nationwide membership. Now, there are people that continuously say Patriot Front is a government front organization, right? Now, here's my thing. I believe that all these organizations have some element of government infiltration, but I want you to imagine a scenario. All right. I want you guys to just think and be creative with your thoughts. They couldn't stop Peyton Gendron, who was one person, no military experience. And he basically did the same thing, except for with less people than, you know what I mean? He traveled, but they were able to intercept these people who come from an organization, but they weren't able to stop Peyton Gendron. I think that makes sense. It would seem to me that if they intercepted these people, it should have been easy to intercept Peyton Gendron. Why am I saying that? Conveniently, somebody was recording all of these people go inside of a van, inside of a U-Haul van. Now, nobody was around when Peyton Gendron was there. Yeah, there was people around. There was black people talking to him the day before, right? Now, hear me out. Wouldn't that be something if this was an event that took place as a scare tactic where nobody was hurt? Because you notice Peyton Gendron went to kill a bunch of black people. He couldn't be intercepted. These people were going to harass a bunch of LGBTQ white people. They got him right away. The government's not going to expend white people. They will let you gun down a bunch of black people, though. And if you guys recall, Peyton Gendron had some inside track with a FBI agent that still is in the shadows that not too many people are talking about. So now when people say, well, Patriot Front is the FBI, I mean, here's my thing. As far as infiltration goes, as far as I'm concerned, you can't infiltrate what already is white supremacist. Our government itself is a white supremacist stronghold. So for someone to say, or for people to say, well, Patriot Front is infiltrated by the government, to me, that's negligible, because the government and Patriot Front are two organizations weaponizing the resources and assets that they stole and have for the same objective, which is to cause harm to people like me. So it's negligible. It doesn't matter to me. You know what I'm saying? That's basically like swapping a center for a center on a basketball team. Like, we still have the same team trying to beat the same people. Like, it doesn't matter to me. You know what I'm saying? And that's a fact, Val. They were in Idaho. They were going to a white area, which, again, they were going to a white area and got intercepted. When Peyton Gendron was going to Buffalo, they just let him go freely. And again, we know that Peyton Gendron, they had a half hour before to know that Peyton Gendron was doing that. He announced it on Discord, and he was in touch with a federal agent. They didn't have any of that detail here. So you mean you were just following these guys around doing what? Where's the screenshots at? You know what I'm saying? Where's the detailed internet account of these events? You know what I'm saying? And I agree. Hey, Mr. Knickerbocker, Patriot Front is absolutely part of that well-regulated militia. Absolutely 110% a part of that well-regulated militia. You know what I'm saying? Now, here's my question for you guys. What is the purpose of that, quote, well-regulated militia? What's the purpose of it? You know what I'm saying? What do they do? What's the point of them? Is there a point of them? Is there a point of them? What do they do? We're going to be talking about this over the next couple of days. You know what I'm saying? Tony says Patriot Front is a bunch of phonies. I guess he would be able to know. It takes a real white supremacist to identify the phony ones. I guess it takes a real one to identify the fake. You know what I'm saying? So at least we got that. You better be careful, though. They're going to be coming for you because that was off code. You know what I'm saying? That was off code. You accidentally divulged some secrets. You got to stop with that instinct of wanting to know everything or wanting to be the one to tell everything. That's how motherfuckers get people in trouble at work all the damn time. You know what I'm saying? That's how you end up having people doing extra shit. I can do it better than everybody here. Like, sit your ass down somewhere. I ain't getting paid to do all this shit. You know what I'm saying? Y'all motherfuckers need to go through an entire re-education course of how to deal with other people. You know what I'm saying? You fuck around and get the wrong motherfucker like Tony at your job. They'll have you doing 2 jobs instead of doing 1, getting paid the same pay because this motherfucker wants to run around like super worker. You know what I'm saying? Y'all ever deal with that? Well, I can do 500 tasks per minute. Well, I'm only getting paid to do 5, which means that I'm only doing 4.5 on a good day. Sit your ass down. See, because we don't do all that extra shit. What you're going to do is you're going to burn yourself out doing all that extra shit. And then when you're gone, they're going to try to add that in as part of our regular work tasks. I mean, I've been doing this for 20, 30. Okay, motherfucker. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So now here it says 31 people tied to the hate group, charged with planning a riot near the LGBTQ event. Now, here's my question. Why would white supremacists plan a riot against white LGBTQ people? What's that looking to prove? I mean, they could have came to Buffalo like Peyton Gendron did. You want to, I mean, there's just nothing but white people at this. You know what I'm saying? Now, doesn't it look like the police has arrested all the fire department? What I want you guys to understand is I want you to pay close attention to how these police officers and firemen look at how they look. There's literally no difference other than the face masks, which I find it fascinating that people so proud of their skin are wearing masks. I guess it does. You don't believe in critique of when white people do shit wrong and they don't acknowledge it. You see, when people commit crimes and do stupid shit, I go the fuck in on them. I don't know if it's a genetic issue or what, but you all don't have that capability, or either you choose not to use it. You put on a performance and it's pathetic and everybody sees it. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Why is this the only time they're admitting white supremacists are starting riots when they've been doing it for God knows how long? See? Yep, I had a colleague like that, tried to get the whole caseload reevaluated. There's always somebody out there doing too much, and it's always somebody like these Reclaim America folks. Yeah, they had guns, they had all kinds of, they had smoke bombs and grenades and shit. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't it look like the police just arrested the fire department? Isn't that what this looks like? I want you guys to pay very close attention. These are the neighborhood patrols. That's why they all look the same. And when I say they all look the same, you know, there'll be some white person that winds up their back and goes beating around like the Energizer Bunny. Oh my God, he said we all look the same. Oh my God, he said we all look the same. Oh my God, he said we all look the same. Oh my God, he said we all look the... No, I didn't say any. No. What I said was, look at these people here. Don't they look like the fire department? They all look the same. And when I say they all look the same, I'm not a racist. I'm not saying genetically all white people look the same way that white people say that about Asians and black people, because it's white people that popularized saying that about Asian and white and black people. So you're not going to turn around again and project your bullshit onto me. You're going to get called out for it, and I'm not racist for that observation. What I'm saying is that look at the outfits, look at the clothing, look at the color. Like the color of their shirts is even the same color. It's that same navy blue as the police. That means something. A lot of people won't be showing up to work tomorrow, right? And you know they work office jobs. One of them probably the mayor or something somewhere. We haven't seen Mayor Smith in God knows how long. No, that's a good point. The LGBTQ community isn't breeding and creating new white people, and they are actively encouraging the same of others. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. They look uniform. Exactly. They look like the fire department or, you know, off-duty police or security guards or sheriffs. There's a reason why they all look the same. People never talk about that with the appearance of these people. And again, you like this is when having these kind of discussions, this is the best that you're going to get from a white person. I guess I'm a white supremacist then. Okay, well, I guess, motherfucker, you said it, not me. You know what I'm saying? That shit doesn't do anything to me when people say that. I guess and storm off. I guess I'm just a white supremacist. I mean, you ain't telling me shit that I didn't assume anyway. The fuck? But thank you for admitting it. There was this one dude that I used to actually have debates and conversations with, and he admitted that he was a racist, but he liked to debate certain things. So there was another app that I was on where we would debate a lot. Izzy was on there, and we debated. We had a tumultuous encounter one time. After that, we had very good and easy debates because he wasn't talking around shit. He was direct. He verbally stated he's a racist, the issues that he has with black people and other races of people. He was a misogynist. He has issues with women. I mean, he was just honest about the shit, and it facilitated and made the convert. Now, I'm not saying that his assessments of black people and women and shit like that were accurate. I'm saying he was honest about his racism. That made the conversation flow so much easier. You can't have somebody's 6 when you deny their 100%. Like you that doesn't work. You can't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's nice to say and it sounds good, but it can't physically be done. You can't have somebody 6 when you deny their 100%. Like it doesn't work. That's one of the reasons why I don't have any expectations of anything. You know what I'm saying? Val said, I watched the video. The cop in his uniform looked just like the Patriot Front individual he was arresting. He was putting zip ties on the Patriot individual. Yeah. Now, here's my question. If the news really wanted to ask some questions, if they really wanted to be journalists, then what they would ask is, why is there such a similarity between the uniform of the police and of these white supremacist organizations? All the time, every single time. And when I talk about the white supremacist organizations, I'm talking about the fire department too, because the fire department in a lot of cases are arsons that go around and burn down shit. And we'll be talking about that and doing streams about that at a later date. But the thin red line is just as nefarious as the thin blue line. The fire department, in many cases, purposely let black people's houses burn down and also help to facilitate black people's houses burning down and shit like that. And not identifying arsons. Nah, he never called me a racist. And I never asked him if he was a racist either. You know what I mean? We just were like, you can just tell. So as our debate goes on, you know, like he basically goes on to admit that. He says, like, I'm a white supremacist, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think white people, you know, XYZ. Those are my beliefs. That's what I think. So you don't need to call me a racist because this is how I feel. So you don't need to call me a racist because I'm telling you right now that I am. Like, you know what I'm saying? That made the shit go. I mean, it was a clean cut, less turbulent debate. This is what I'm saying. Like, white people always try to act like they so comfortable with shit. A lot of times you can't find a white person that's not racist, and you can't find a racist white person that will honestly admit that they're racist. Like, it's just, there's no happy medium. You do think like that. You come in, you're very disrespectful to everybody in the comment section. You deny things that are literally right up on the screen for you to see because it hurts your feelings. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what to tell you. That's you doing all of that. It's not me doing it. That's you. It's projection. Again, like there's a lot of these people can't. Well, I don't want to say can't, because if you're alleging that you're the best and most capable group of people on the planet, then there's nothing you can do, including survive 300 feet under the Pacific Ocean and inhale water and still live. So, I mean, one of the reasons why you see these motherfuckers bungee jumping and doing shit like that. But you should have that basic understanding, and like you don't, or either you act like you don't, which again, I don't believe. So now here it says police in Idaho arrested 31 people who had face coverings, white supremacist insignia, shields, and an operation plan to riot near an LGBTQ pride event on Saturday afternoon. Why would you have a booklet that says we're going to commit this specific crime inside of a U-Haul van full of guns and illegal shit? Like, I mean, to me, like, it's, I don't know, man. Like, this is kind of laid out a little bit like, oh, yeah, just so you know, I have like all the crack on the passenger seat and the scales are right next to it. And I have a bag of Ziploc bags with the receipt in it in the glove compartment. Like, the fuck? Not only do we have all these damn guns and shit, but we have a book that spells out literally what we're gonna do. Like, since when have white people not been good at crime? You know what I'm saying? Like, the fuck out of here. These motherfucking criminals established this whole entire country. And you mean to tell me that they botched a riot? I don't think so. So you think that you're empowering black people by commenting here? So basically, by your logic, Peyton Gendron wasn't a white supremacist because he put himself around black people. White supremacists like to put themselves around black people because they're so simple-minded that they think they understand how we think and how we'll react. And also, they like to throw shit out there because they're constantly experimenting to see how far they can go with black people. There's always a white supremacist in a group of black people. Sometimes it's not even a white black supremacist or a white supremacist. It can be a black one. It can be a coon. It can be an Asian. It could be a Latino. Like, you know what I'm saying? You commenting here isn't empowering anybody for shit. The only thing that you comment is nonsense to try to downplay anything that we talk about, which is all anytime white people open their mouths up that they ever do. So again, like, nothing that you're doing is not expected. Being a killer and shooting people up doesn't make you a white supremacist or not. Just because you haven't killed anybody doesn't make you not a white supremacist. White supremacist can encompass, but is not synonymous with murder. So again, this is, you're being a white supremacist now. This is white supremacist cultural conversational tactics, being dishonest and acting as if you're not the people that defined all the words in the English language. No, here's a better question. Wait, when did I say it was? That's a better question. That's a better question. When did I say it was? When did I say you even have to be here? When did I ever say that I give a fuck about what you think if you're breathing or your opinion? When was any of that ever said? See, what white people like to do is you're so self-conscious, you like to try to, you can't compete with other white people, and because you're so subconsciously racist, you think that you can easily dislodge yourself from the other white people that you're around and then go surround yourself by around black people, and you think that everybody is a coon and buck broken and that you're just automatically going to be a part of the group because you're white. That's not how that shit works. Yeah, because that's what my channel does, and you claim to support my channel. So now you've just verified that you don't support the channel and that you're full of shit, because that's what my channel does. So there you go. So again, just like white supremacists in white supremacist fashion, you showed how much of an idiot you are. Because like I said, white supremacy, it is synonymous with being an idiot. My channel, one of the purposes of it is to empower black people. You claim to support the channel, but apparently now it's not your job, which means that you don't support the channel. Nobody asked you for that to be your job. Nobody gave you an application to fill out. Like I said, you can scram multiple times. Being an idiot is synonymous with white supremacy. You're a white supremacist and an idiot, both at the same time. All white supremacists are idiots. It's synonymous. You have to be an idiot because instead of understanding reality, you have to change reality around your pea brain understanding of it, which is one of the reasons why I'm white and I say so exists. It's not because anybody's intelligent. White people didn't understand the way that the universe works, so they just decided to say that the world was flat, while literally the people that they make fun of who were running around in leaves had the understanding that the planets were round and there was an outer space. So, I mean, until you all caught up to that, which was thousands of years later, you all just proclaimed that the world was round, the world was flat. So, again, just it was the Enlightenment era for white people, when the people running around shooting darts and the people running around in mud huts, you know what I'm saying, understood that the world was in outer space and that the earth wasn't in the center of the universe. But the people that didn't take baths and put powder wigs on their heads and thought that that was civilization didn't understand that. And everything that you can't explain, it's because of God. I can't explain it. God did it. You know what I'm saying? It's because of God. Yeah. No, I can't. I can't. Serious? If your dog asked you to explain some shit in barking, would you? Fuck out of here. Police said that they were affiliated with Patriot Front, a white supremacist organization whose founder was among those arrested. Authorities received a tip about a little arm. Now, see, I'm not trying to be funny, but this sounds like a white version of INFAC. Or no fucks given militia or whatever that shit was called. The Grandmaster J shit. This shit sounds like Grand Dragon J. How the fuck the leader get arrested with the damn group? You mean to tell me that he was packed into the thing with them? It don't make any sense. Yeah, God is always the go-to explanation for something that they can't explain, while calling everybody else dumb. We can't explain. Well, it's God's will. What? Okay. Well, who is this God? Well, it's there because I said so. Here we go. So there's that. You know what I'm saying? We start with that. You know what I'm saying? There's no evidence of it. I know, but I said that it's there. So if the only evidence is that you said that it's there, then you must be God then. Like, the fuck? Yeah, that's the point. We're God. Yeah, no, that's not the point. You're wrong. No, that's not what it said. That's funny as hell though, because that's how that shit sounded when I read it. Nah, it said police said that the white supremacists that they pulled over and arrested were associated with Patriot Front. That shit would be funny as fuck if in the article it said police are affiliated with Patriot Front. Yeah, not fucking around coalition. Yeah. This sound like I'm white not say so coalition with some Grand Dragon goofball as the leader. You know what I'm saying? The grand wizard goofball. Now look at this. I want y'all to take a look at look at the police. Look at why do the people arresting him look like Peyton Gendron, y'all? That's what I want y'all to concentrate on. Why do the people that are there arresting them look like Peyton Gendron? How come nobody says anything about that? Look at I want you guys to take a good look. You remember when Martin would be trying to go in on Gina? Look. That's what I want to look. Look. Nah, this shit look backwards. It looked like Patriot Front arresting the police in this picture, but this is the police arresting Peyton Gendron. Now it's the other way around. Peyton Gendron arresting the damn police. They have, I'm going to shoot up Buffalo gear on, is what they have on. You know what I'm saying? Anytime police come, that matter of fact, that should be police's new name. The police's new nickname should be the Buffalo Brigade. Y'all the damn Buffalo Brigade. Look, y'all the Buffalo Brigade. These two motherfuckers up here talking about, yeah, I got that swastika tattooed on me. Oh, I got that black sun tattooed on me. Cool, bro. Cool. You ever play Call of Duty? Don't expect any kind of sensible answer about any of this. You know what I'm saying? Because you know that they're not capable of that. So, you know what I'm saying? So now here it says, in photos and videos posted on social media, a group of men dressed in hats, sunglasses, white balaclavas, and Patriot front signature khaki pants were seen kneeling on the ground with their hands zip tied. And like, why did they use zip ties? Why didn't they use handcuffs? I mean, when do they do that? We just gonna zip tie these motherfuckers. That's what we're doing out here. Since when do they just zip tie people? Is that a thing for real? Seriously, because I ain't never heard it, nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? Now I know that they do zip tie like prisoners and stuff like that once in a blue moon when they're getting out of hand. But I never heard of we're just gonna zip tie you. You know what I'm saying? Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, we got 35 people watching and 73 likes. If everybody can smash that like button, we will be at 108 likes, which is exactly where I'd like to be. So help your boy get there. And also, guys, don't forget to check out the short videos that I posted today. Your boy posted 3 short videos. You know what I'm saying? Let me know what you think about them, if you like them or not. So now here it says, White said that the people were headed to City Park, which was hosting Pride in the Park, an event advertised as a family-friendly community event celebrating diversity and building a stronger and more unified community for all. I mean, in I mean, like, that's where they had planned on striking? No, I don't watch Cops. I stay away from Cops. Despite the fact that in your pea brain, you probably think that all black people have had experience with cops because we're all prone to criminality. Again, you're wrong. So there's that. Yeah, I don't sit around and watch Cops. Sorry. The only time I watch Cops is when they're in my rear view because they're white supremacists. Then I watch them. Other than that, I don't give a fuck about them. They're probably at home beating their wives or something because that's what they do. Or working on killing somebody that has a mental disorder because they do that too. Or looking for a black person that's unarmed or a school that they can sit outside of for 45 minutes while kids get slaughtered. You know, that's what police do these days. You know what I'm saying? Just so we're clear on what police do. I don't watch TV, Brainiac. I've said that in every single stream that I've done. So if I don't watch TV, I won't be watching anything on TV, like one of the oldest running TV shows in history, Cops, Brainiac. Your brain is like an oven. You know what I'm saying? You need to set it to 450 and just let it sit there for about an hour so that it can at least warm up and work right. So now here it says organizers did not immediately respond to the telephone and email requests for comment from the Washington Post on Saturday evening, but they wrote in a post to the group's Facebook page that it was a successful event. So again, what I'm trying to figure out is how is it that the police intercepted these people, but they let Peyton Gendron free to shoot up tops? That's my question. You know what I'm saying? That's the question. So now here it says the group North Idaho Pride Alliance urged people to stay aware of your surroundings this afternoon and in the evening in the city. Authorities had been aware of online threats leading up to the weekend. Now, how is it that they were aware of online threats leading up to this, and Peyton Gendron had a digital footprint and they just didn't see anything? That's a fact, Crypto. Facts. When I first realized what was going on TV, I saw everything that I needed to see on TV. If you go back and watch all of the cartoons that I talk about and all of the cartoons that I reference, if you watch them from episode 1, season 1 to the conclusion, you will literally know everything that's going on up to date in the world today. I'll give you a whole list of cartoons to watch. If you watch all of that shit and stay out of contact with what's going on in the world as far as media, and then you suddenly go back and watch media, you'll be completely up to date having watched all of those cartoons. I kid you not. They predicted cryptocurrency on G.I. Joe on an episode called Cobra Currency. You know what I'm saying? Thundar the Barbarian predicted the weather changes and change in societal breakdown and degeneracy. Conan the Barbarian alleged that there were snake people from another dimension controlling what was going on Earth. I mean, the list goes on. Scooby and Shaggy normalized weed smoking and being a fucking idiot. The X-Men predicted the plague, techno-organic virus. You know what I'm saying? Literally all the old school cartoons, if you watch every single one of them, it's just as good as watching the news. Cobra, G.I. Joe, you know what I'm saying? They predicted the election debacle. The Simpsons predicted a bunch of shit. You know what I'm saying? In Shaggy's defense, it was the 70s and 80s. You know, Shaggy would have voted for, Shaggy. But you can't hate Shaggy, though. Like, I mean, I fucks with Shaggy. You know what I'm saying? But you know his dumb ass would have voted for Biden, though. Oh, Scoob, we can't vote for Trump. He's going to kill us if he gets back in office. Then there was Rocky and Bullwinkle. Hey, Rocky. Hey, shut your dumb ass up, Bullwinkle. Oh my God. Y'all remember that shit? That was back in the good old days. These cartoons nowadays are garbage. This shit nowadays is hot garbage. It's hot pastrami and garbage. You know what I'm saying? Shit. So now here it says, White said, so police had increased their presence in the city's downtown. 2 SWAT teams and officers from the city, county, and state assisted the arrests. The Panhandle Patriots, a local motorcycle club, had planned a gun deline event on the same day as Pride in the Park. Go ahead with these people. An organizer said in April during an appearance with Representative Heather Scott. The organizer was not identified by name in a video, but wore a vest bearing the alias Mad Dog and the insignia of the Panhandle Patriots group. He lamented that the pride gathering would be allowed to parade through all of Coeur d'Alene, saying that a line must be drawn in the sand against such LGBTQ displays. Speaking of LGBTQ displays, later on tonight, your boy is going to be doing another segment of my videos about that what is a woman video, but that's going to be on Blacklight Revelations 2. So if you're not subscribed to Blacklight Revelations 2, make sure that you hit that bell icon. All right, make sure that you subscribe to Blacklight Revelations 2. All right. As a matter of fact, when this stream is over, if you just let the stream play out, it'll take you right into the stream on the other channel. Believe it or not. Yeah, you can do that. And your boy did that. So it'll be done. You know what I'm saying? Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, we got 75 likes and 38 people watching. If everybody smashes that like button, we will be at that 100. So please make sure y'all smash that like button. Oh, you know, Freddie and Daphne fucking are Trump supporters. I don't think they Hillary supporters. I think Freddie and Daphne are some Trump supporters. Freddie was straight up Chad. You know what I'm saying? I think Daphne is that chick that she's just who she's fucking. So you know what I'm saying? Like she's sitting there fucking around with Fred. She just whatever, Fred. I'm with you, babe. You know what I'm saying? Like oh shit. You know what I'm saying? Velma would be an OnlyFans model today. You know what I'm saying? She'd be an OnlyFans model today. Let me see. Yeah, I think that's about it. Who else was on Scooby-Doo? Was anybody like there weren't no reoccurring characters on Scooby-Doo or nothing like that? Them motherfuckers would have Batman and Robin on there like randomly, like once in a blue moon, like Scooby and Scooby and Shaggy would be high as fuck behind a tree about to eat a mile-long sandwich, and then like Batman and Robin would fall out of a tree. And, oh, Scoob, what the hell are Batman and Robin doing here? And then the Joker would just come. You know what I'm saying? Like Scooby-Doo would just have some old random weird ass shit like that popping out. You know what I'm saying? And like this, like the Marvel Universe crossovers was going on way back in them days. Then the next episode, Spider-Man would just come swinging down and shit. Here comes Spider-Man. Oh, Scoob, who is this? Yeah, Velma let that nerdy shit go. She just said, fuck it. I'm fully thoughting it out. Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? I tried. You know what I'm saying? I tried. Fuck it. Here's the panties, world. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Here says Scott did not immediately respond to a request for comment from the post on Saturday. In a news release posted on the group's website, the Panhandle Patriots encouraged the community to take a stand against the LGBTQ agenda. It also suggested without evidence that extreme groups were trying to hijack the event to provoke violence, and said that the group would change its event name to the North Idaho Day of Prayer in response. Reached by phone late Saturday, a representative for the Panhandle Patriots declined to comment on the day's events, telling the Post, "We are not answering questions right now." I mean, again, we're just not, even though we had a bunch of motherfuckers locked up in the back of a truck like a sardine, so what? I'm saying, like, it's like, how do you go through life with like basically everything is yes, so what? I'm white. Like what? Like, and like they actually think that the democracy is failing because that's an invalid human practice. America's losing its values. Like, no, reality is setting in. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, you're just woke. Sure. Because you actually know what the word's definition is, but okay. You know what I'm saying? All right. Make it make sense, huh? You know what I'm saying? Make it make sense. So now here it says White did not mention a connection between the Panhandle Patriots event and the arrest. He said those arrested had come from several states to riot downtown with riot gear, at least one smoke grenade, and documents. Look at this, documents similar to an operation plan that a police or military group will put together for an event. Of course, because they're the damn police. They came with outfits and equipment that the police would have too. So it would make sense that they would have a police manual. Like, I'm not trying to be funny, but like these people like really think that you're stupid. Y'all remember Breaking Bad? Did anybody watch Breaking Bad? I watched Breaking Bad. Y'all remember that episode when Tuco Y'all remember that episode when Tuco was telling Walter White, "You think I'm stupid?" Is he saying I'm stupid? You think I'm stupid. You think I'm stupid. Oh my God, man. Damn, that shit is funny as hell. Is he saying I'm stupid? So now here it says fire. Look at this. Firearms were present in the vicinity of the park, White said. Police had been in contact with the FBI all day, he said. So they were in contact with the FBI for this particular situation here. But they weren't in contact with the FBI when it came down to dealing with Peyton Gendron. When it came down to dealing with Peyton Gendron, the FBI was in contact with Peyton. Now, people just need to sit back and let that marinate for a second and understand and realize how absurd, ridiculous, and wrong that is. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says, White noted that the authorities' understanding of the situation was still developing and said at the news conference that law enforcement had not yet interviewed those arrested. Representatives for Patriot Front were unable to be reached for comment. All right. More charges are possible, White said. The first court appearances for those arrested will probably be on Monday. Now, what I find fascinating is that there's no talk of federal hate charges. You see, they're actually only going to get charged for a misdemeanor. So now if they were going to do all of this and they had a manifesto, how come there's not any federal hate charges being attached to this? That's the question, ladies and gentlemen. My question is, what do you guys think? What do you guys think about that? What you guys can do is leave your thoughts in the comment section. All right. Thank you guys for watching. For everybody who has been here from the start to the finish, I appreciate every single one of you guys. Please make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure you're subscribed to the backup channels. All right. I want to see you guys in about 2 hours on Blacklight Revelations 2. We're going to be talking about Matt Walsh versus Professor Dave. And we're going to be discussing what a woman is, because clearly that's now a debate for some reason. All right. And I will catch you all on the next video. All right. Peace.